Okay, think we could start rolling. Hello everyone, welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. I'm your DM for the evening, Tom. Joining me tonight, we've got Badger.
I'm playing Bagerac, the Half-Orc Barbarian.
Excellent. James Lacey.
I am Jamesy, and I'm playing an Aarakocra Ranger.
Cool. We've got another James Oakley.
Hi, I'm playing Lours, the Kalashtar Druid.
Dave Fisher at Davesprout1 on Twitch.
Hey, I'm playing Magemak. I'm a 1T. Warlock Sorcerer. Warlock Mage.
We've got Shawball.
I'm playing Relaxio, who's a Yanti Pure Blood Warlock.
And finally, we've got our third James of the evening, James Harper, whose Twitch handle I've forgotten, so please feel free to plug it whilst you introduce your character.
Hi, I'm Bell, and I play Natasha Bardingfield, the Swiftfoot Halfling Bard.
Fantastic. Cool. So, tonight's adventure takes place the following day after last week. Oh, I should mention, we have got M joining us later on as Faye, the Changeling Blood Hunter. She's just on her way, so she should drop in some point soon. Right, so this adventure takes place the following day after last week's adventure, where you took part in the Trials of King Domu on the Shell Islands. There's been a night of partying and celebration. A general great time has been had by all. Olo, the Turtle Elder, is waving farewell to departing guests as you guys enjoy a generous grilled breakfast outside the beach grill. So, you've all had fairly restful night's sleep. With the exception of Relaxio and Magemak, the 1T Warlocks. You guys have woken up feeling inexplicably anxious and very eager to leave the islands. As you're enjoying your breakfast, Six Waves, the Tabaxi merchant, wanders over to you and says, "Good morning, my friends. I was wondering if I could hire your services for an expedition I have planned. I've come into possession of directions to a lost temple on the nearby Isle of Faix. It is likely to be a dangerous expedition, and I could use the services of capable individuals such as yourselves. In exchange, I would be willing to split any treasure with you 50-50 and take you back to the city of Waterdeep after our business is concluded."
Business do you have on the Isle of Fangs?
Well, I am, you may have originally thought me nothing more than a simple merchant, but I'm in fact a historian or archaeologist, and I have been researching a cult that disappeared shortly after the Great Cataclysm, known as the Unraveling. This was the worshippers of the snake god Merrshaulk, and through my notes and contacts, the information I have gathered points that the only surviving temple, and potentially the first temple to worship Merrshaulk, is located on this Isle of Fangs. But the followers, they were not only incredibly rich, but also very crafty, and it is most likely to be a dangerous expedition. As such, I thought that the champions of the island trials would be a suitable escort to help me in my search.
Why do you give 50%? There's more of us.
Well, I on this expedition as part of a recovery effort, my benefactors, they need to be reimbursed for their investment, and to be perfectly honest, I think from the notes and reports that I have gathered, the 50% split for your party would be more than healthy compensation.
Do you know about Merrshaulk?
Yeah,
It is.
I feel like we should maybe stay here and enjoy the sunshine.
I agree.
I mean, I know that you're perhaps going to struggle to find transport back to the mainland. I don't know if you are aware, but many of the other island guests and your fancy airship, which arrived with you, have already left. As you look at the beach, you see that the docks are now completely cleared. There's like a couple of turtle fishing boats, and that's about it.
So we could just steal a fishing boat.
I mean, you could, but with the best will in the world, you will not get far on a small vessel such as that. Whereas my boat, and he points over
I don't
to,
think we want to steal a fishing boat.
he indicates over to a reasonably sized sort of medium, almost like a steamboat. You can see there's a chimney coming up from a cabin in the centre, and it's certainly large enough to carry the lot of you. Next to it, there is a turtle sort of loading up supplies from the docks.
So it doesn't sound like we have much choice, really, does it?
Choice is but an illusion.
I'm just going to send a warning out there, guys. I generally think this is a really bad idea, but
We've all
It's
had bad
not good
ideas
plan.
on this journey.
I don't
so
think we
far.
have much choice.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm-
So-
I'm up for this.
The Tabaxi takes you over to his boat, and you can see that they are just loading up the last of the supplies. There's some boxes of rations, some ropes, some lanterns, and oil, and a couple of tents. Welcome aboard, my friends. You will not regret this, I promise. Now, let us get this party started, shall we? Vamos! Vámonos! Come on! He starts banging on the boiler, and you just hear this voice from inside go, "Fuck off! Vamos! Come on now! I will give you a call." And as he opens it, you just see this little sort of almost like gremlinish face made of coal and embers. He just throws a couple of pieces of coal and goes, "All right." Shuts it. And the controls are this mad, erratic collection of dials and gauges and levers and just absolute baffling amount of mechanisms on there for what you'd normally expect from a boat. But Six Waves is just quite fluidly just bouncing back and forth. He's pulling levers, he's checking gauges, he's spinning wheels. It's like, okay, time for us to get on the move. Everybody ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Yeah, where's the
Fantastic.
food and beer?
Well, there are supplies in the hold. If you head on there, please do be careful. The rations must have to last us at least a week. And so he grabs hold of the wheel, dramatically spins it, and the boat starts chugging its way out onto the ocean. So, as the boat's chugging along, both Relaxio and Magemak, you guys immediately just feel this sense of relief and relaxation. You become far more calm than you were on the island.
Mhm.
So, takes probably the best part of the day, and the boat's chugging along. Six Waves is quite happily just sort of singing to himself and bounce back and forth between the controls. And just on the horizon, starting to grow, you can see the shape of an island. And as it gets closer, you can see a beach laid out in front of you, some vegetation up behind. And as you come to anchor up at the shore, you can see that this is a far less picturesque scene than you've had before on the Shell Islands. There's large rocks dotting the beach. It's a very whereas the vegetation on the Shell Islands was much more sort of tropical and low vegetation with very tall trees, this is all just a big clump of thick, swampy, vine-strewn foliage. Lours, you immediately notice that there is an eerie silence to this entire island. You'd expect there to be sort of, chirping of birds, rustling of animals, but there is just nothing. It is just dead silence.
Has
anyone
noticed that there's no wildlife right now? Can anyone else hear anything?
No.
Quiet as the
This
grave.
is really creepy. I have a bad feeling about this.
I don't really like it.
Can I ask Six Waves what the deal is with it? If he's not otherwise engaged.
Yes, anyway, you're asking him.
Where are all the animals? There's just nothing.
Well, the wildlife was not part of my notes. The primary concern I had was with the historical and mythological notation for this island. We did not really expect to find any specific wildlife or fauna here. Why? Is something wrong?
Just doesn't sit with me. I would expect there to be something. I have a very bad feeling about this.
Oh.
What do you know about it?
As much as I know that this is this island is supposed to be the home of the followers of Merrshaulk. This was the place where the first temple was erected in his honor. The followers themselves are into some pretty dark mysticism. A lot of sacrifice and records of cannibalism. But beyond that,
Or maybe they're just a bit misunderstood and people don't really know what they're like.
exactly, this is entirely possible. It is one of the reasons I want to come here and find this temple and hopefully learn more about this religion. It is shrouded in mystery, and we really want to find some evidence that we can learn more about these people and their beliefs.
I'd like you
Maybe
to
it's
know
hidden
I'm starting to
because-
get real fucking scared.
Maybe it's hidden because they don't want you to find it.
It is entirely possible, but we have not been able to find any current day followers of Merrshaulk or any of his the descendants of the acolytes. They seem to have been entirely wiped out in the Cataclysm. But this is, we've followed on the scant records and the reports of traveling merchants and missionary priests, and this is as much as this is as close as I have ever come to finding concrete evidence that first of all they existed, and more so the details of their religion.
Mm.
Are we expecting these to be friendly, or do you just not know?
As much as we know, there are no present-day followers of Merrshaulk. The records all indicate that they were very widespread, but appear to have completely disappeared after the Cataclysm. The records showed that they were very powerful, very influential, but very cunning, very tactical. There are reports that they would lay traps, and they had vast wealth that they would draw from their followers. But
Well,
beyond this, we do not know much.
Maybe
I've
we
heard
need
he's a very strong god. Very ancient god.
Oh yes, the reports refer to it as being older than many of the other equal religions. For now, though, I believe it would be wise for us to make a camp. The sun is going down, and we can hardly all fit and sleep on the boat. I have brought some tents. If we can set these up on the shoreline, I will need you to arrange a watch rotation to keep an eye on the campsite overnight. If you want to decide that amongst yourselves, I will join the first watch, as I am more than happy to put myself forward for that. But you decide who will join me and who will take the first rest, and who will then take over on the following shift.
Can I just have everyone's attention, please? If you all gather around a second, it's just something I need to do quickly before we go on. And I pull out my stone of weather watching.
Fuck's sake.
And I place it on the ground, and I stand back. Oh, it's okay. The weather's fine. It's sunny. There's no wind. So
You
it's
see,
safe to go on.
you can
It's
see
safe
that the
to go on.
stone is more or less dry, but there are little pockets of moisture forming on the outside, which indicate you might have slightly humid conditions.
Okay, carry on, everyone. Carry on.
Cool. So,
Well, thank God for that.
Oh,
Good
that's
job you bought that
the
rock.
weight off.
It's way off my mind.
You guys said it was
Excellent.
money not well spent, eh?
So, who is going to be taking the first watch? I'll need at least 3 of you, please.
New one.
Me and Relaxio will take the first watch with him, I think.
I think it's a good idea if me and Magemak go first.
Cool. Who's joining him?
Oh, I'll join then.
I will-
Sorry, I thought it was going to be that third guy. But
I
I
thought-
thought it was going to be 6 waves.
I
Sorry,
thought Lacey said he was.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I think we'll take James. That might be a good show.
I'll go second watch then.
Jump up high and just circle, see what I can see.
Cool. So,
I'm happy to take the
When
graveyard.
I say
shift.
jump up, you get that I mean fly,
Of
right?
course
I
you
don't
are,
just mean
you
like I'm stood
topic
there
looking at.
jumping.
cool. So,
Yeah, I don't mean that I'm just there jumping up and down.
just hopping on the spot just to try and get a good view.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I can see.
So,
I can sort of see over that bush, but not quite.
so the first watch begins. Let's, yeah. So you go through the first sort of 4 hours of
Give me some-
night time. There's not really anything. You notice maybe like a couple of bugs skittering here and there. Rolls on. Comes the end of the shift, and it's time for you guys to swap over. So, second shift.
I'm guessing that's me.
So that'll be
Bagerac, Lours and me, maybe.
yep.
What about me?
Natasha obviously needs a beauty sleep.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Fine. Let's see how it is.
Fine, Natasha.
the rest of
Lours.
you head off to your tents to go and get some rest, and go through the next 4 hours again. Maybe sound of the odd insect, something flitting past you. Morning comes. And you guys wake up and get out of the tents. You're all still gathered on this beach, and Six Waves is there, just stretching out and checking over the gear. He's just looking around, checking his notes. Anybody else doing anything whilst Six Waves is just prepping?
Flicking my beam.
I'm
Jesus.
wow.
That is a bold move and shows a wild amount of confidence for a group activity.
Well, guys, I just want to get moved on. Let's start going. We just need to go. We need to get this done.
I'm giving a quick blast on the old confidence boosting octopipes.
I've packed up and I'm already walking off. I'm heading off to the jungle.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we're heading off now. Come on.
I'll catch up.
Okay.
Okay.
Me and Magemak will just we'll head off. Catch
I'll
us up.
Fantastic.
I'll just say to whoever's near me, "What are these guys in such a hurry? Have I missed something?"
Yeah, the two Yanti bloody pureblood people.
The brothers.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
I don't
See-
like it.
No,
You say the jaunty pureblood people.
One,
That
one
was
tea.
just electrical
one
noise.
tea.
one tea,
Say, I thought they were jaunty.
one sheet. But
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know why one
One
sheet's here,
sheet.
but anyway, let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on these guys. I don't know.
So as you're making your way
Sorry.
through the foliage, who's taking the lead on this?
I'll be one of the two warlocks when at the front.
We're both off ahead, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are already like clearing a path through the
Mhm.
jungle.
So
They're on a
the
mission.
rest of us are like in a little separate group, and then the two Yuantis are up front, are they?
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
So, as you're making your way through, you've got the two Yuan-Ti Warlock brothers clearing the path in front of you with a certain amount of vigor and energy. Directly behind them is Six Waves, who's sort of checking his notes, and he's got a compass out, and he's just sort of like checking the location to try and work out which way they're going. We've got the rest of you following along behind. Again, there's just the jungle is so quiet. Not only is there an absolute absence of any kind of animal noise, but there is this almost like within a few meters of getting into the jungle, the sound of the surf behind you from the water is immediately deadened by just how thick the jungle is. And the going's fairly slow. And after about sort of 3 hours or so of cutting your way into the jungle, Six Waves calls a halt and checks his notes. And he's sort of trying to have a look around. He turns to James. He goes, "Excuse me, my winged friend. Would you mind taking this map and just having a quick look above the foliage? I need to see if there is a large mountain. It refers to a mountain in my notes. I believe that from this we need to continue heading straight on until we reach an old road which may have a fork in it, forked like the tongue of a snake. Could you check for me, please?" Lacey, that was at you.
Alright. I missed what you was. Genuinely missed everything that you said, other than something about forked tongue.
Yeah, so Six Waves is struggling to determine which way to go, and he's just asked you to fly over the canopy and just have
Have a look.
a look around and see if you can determine, which direction to go in.
Ava butchers.
Do you
I'm
like me
feeling
to,
quite lost, so
want me to roll for anything, or
Yeah, if you can make me let's call this a survival check.
Doke? Have to remind me about this time.
So if you're using the Avray bot, survival check would be !C space survival.
C survival, okay.
Yeah.
C survival. Come on, don't be shit. 23. Fuck yes.
What was that? Sorry, you
Yeah,
broke up a little bit.
everything.
23.
23.
23, fantastic. So yeah, you can
Eagle
immediately
eye
identify that from the course that you were taking, you were veering slightly off in the wrong direction. So you're able to then, point out that you just need to correct ever so slightly, but we were doing pretty well to start with. And you've got that information,
Okay.
you've got that location of the mountain now fixed in your mind. If you need to recall which way to go, to use that as a point of interest. So, crack on with the journey, and you eventually come to a bit of a clearing, and there is, as Six Waves notes described, the remains of an old path which forks off in two directions, as he says, like the tongue of a snake.
Okay.
And consults his notes. Looks back at both paths and goes, I see. Well, from the looks of what I've got here, we should follow this path off to the right-hand side, and that should lead us closer to the temple.
No, we need to take the other path. The path to the left.
Are you sure?
Can I go with no?
I don't think your notes are right.
Why?
What?
Make me a persuasion check, please.
Magemak C persuasion.
Are the rest of us there yet, by the way? Or
Yes, yeah, you've all sort of
Yeah.
grouped up at this point.
Yeah.
8.
I can get
You're-
that in without even rolling.
Fuck no.
Your tone isn't terribly convincing, but there is something sort of almost agitated in your body language that causes Six Waves to kind of sort of just second guess himself a little bit, and he looks down at his notes and goes, "You know, you could be right. The references do not say specifically to take the right-hand path. They just say to choose. I mean, it could be choose correct path rather than choose a right path. I'm willing to go on a little faith here. We will follow your instruction, my friend."
There's something not quite right here.
I'm already heading off down the left path.
Cool. As
Already
you,
I'm right, suspicious me.
both Raxio and Magemak, as you move away from the right-hand path and start going down the left-hand path, you immediately feel that anxiety just sort of drop off you, and suddenly feel a lot more calm and a lot more assured within yourselves. So,
Can I? Do I notice them, or can we actually tell they're anxious?
make me an insight check.
Ugh. Absolutely not. That's a 2.
No.
With a +4 though, so 6.
Okay. Yeah, you look at these guys and go, man, they're good at this. They are really good at walking through a jungle.
Can
They
I
seem-
move up towards Relaxio and Magemak and ask them why they're so certain?
Certainly.
Have you been here before? How do you seem to know where you're going?
We just do.
Well, that's vague.
That's very vague. Yeah.
I don't believe.
Not here for idle chit chat.
That's definitely the way to go. Am I going to see if I jump up high and have a look?
So, as you jump back up, you sort of reorient yourself and have a look at the reference point that you've set in your mind as the mountain. You can see from that position that the right-hand path actually goes further off away from the mountain. As Six Waves has said, the mountain is the sort of the point you're trying to reach towards as your main location.
So-
You immediately recognise that had you taken the right-hand path, you would have been gone the wrong way for potentially hours, maybe even days.
I'm going to relay that back to everyone.
Yeah, so they're
Doesn't
not
make it
lying like
less
that, then.
suspicious.
Good call, guys.
That was
Lucky
impressive
guess.
work, my friends.
How do you guys know this?
Instinct.
Just a lucky guess, I guess.
Could I persuade them to tell me what's going on?
You can certainly try.
Can I also roll a deception roll?
Yeah, so yeah, so Natasha, who are you asking about this?
Oh, I kind of want to ask. I'll ask Alexio. Kind of want to ask Magemak, but I feel it's more interesting if Shawball's willing to do a deception check.
Okay, so Natasha, if you can roll me a persuasion check.
Cool.
Relaxio,
Ooh.
if you can roll me a deception check, please.
Come on, big money, Natasha.
I got 13.
Oh, got that wrong.
Fuck!
18.
Ah.
So, Relaxio, what are you telling Natasha?
It's just an instinctive. Just feels natural. Just feels natural to go this way. I think I read it in a book.
You say
read.
it's natural. You say you read books. What's that all about?
Where are
Is this
you
your
from again?
suspicious voice?
I'm right suspicious, me. Right suspicious.
That's like saying I read books.
You eat them.
But I'm pretty
It's
sure
all-
with my
They're
with
delicious.
my,
Alright.
with my deception check, you brought that.
Alright.
He totally bought it.
I lean over and whisper something into my brother's ear.
What are you whispering?
Can you DM him?
Oh, can I try and listen? Actually, am I
Uh,
close enough to try and listen? I'm
Hey,
not that
your
close.
tongue's
am
in
I?
my ear. That's gross.
Lours, make
Um,
me a perception check. And
T6.
Relaxio,
Yeah.
make me let's call this a stealth check because you're trying to be sneaky.
Oh, that's
Is it- was he whispering,
19. That's not
Oh.
Did
bad.
you eat my sandwich?
Well, did he?
I'm gonna find out.
13.
Okay, so you whisper to Magemak, and you may announce this out loud rather than through DM whispers, so that Lours can hear what you're saying.
Okay. Magemak, watch your step.
Is that a threat?
Tread lightly.
So Magemak and Lours are the only ones to hear you say this.
Correct.
I very quietly try to relay that to Bagerac and Natasha. Whoever's next to me. Whoever's immediately next to me, whichever one's closer.
Basically, everyone who isn't Faye, Magemak, or Relaxio.
Okay, so Bagerac and Natasha then. I just heard watch your step. Nothing else. I have no context to this.
Can I look down at the floor and see what's going on? While
Yeah.
I'm walking?
Six Wave mentioned there might be traps, or they were fond of traps. That's kind of what I'm getting from this.
Cool.
Okay, so Natasha, you're having a look around the floor to see what's going on. Did you say?
Yes.
Okay. Make me an investigation check, please.
Already doing it.
With
20.
I was going to say with
Oh.
advantage, but that's fine.
Do it again.
I'll do it again.
Anyway.
Do it again.
Come on, that 20. Go on! What? That is outrageous.
So with a nat 20, you
So I wrote.
you start looking around on the floor, and you can see that there is, the floor in front of you is just a normal amount of like decayed litter and bits and pieces, and you start sort of looking ahead, and you can see a patch, maybe sort of 6 to 10 feet ahead of the front of the party, where there is an obvious difference in the sort of like colour of the leaves. They appear to be far more decayed and dried than the rest of the litter on the floor.
Okay.
I swear you guys have such an easy time using the bot for rolls.
I relay this to the rest of the group. I go, that there looks right suspicious.
Well, you've been
Can I
working on
fit-
these accents this week.
Can I throw a rock at it?
Yeah, certainly. Let's just
If I'm
make.
near it, can I step back from
Give a
whatever he's throwing a
bludgeon
rock
at
at?
it.
So the
Let's
lot
do a
of you
moving check.
come to a stop, and Bagerac scoops up a rock. Bagerac, if you can make me just call this a straight dexterity check, and just don't fuck it up.
Is it?
He's gonna die.
Just exclamation C space dex in the Avray bot.
11.
That's fine. So you find a decent sized rock about the size of your hand, and you just huck it at this patch of leaves, and all of a sudden the sort of a good portion of the path just collapses in and reveals a pit that was covered with dried leaves. As you look down, that there are a selection of particularly nasty looking wooden spikes in there. Sparsely set apart, many of them appear to have sort of rotted away over time, but there's still a few in there that could have given you quite a nasty jab if you weren't watching where you were going.
Wow. Good spot.
That has danger sense.
What the fuck is that?
That appears to be a trap, my friend. You have some good eyes, my green screen barbarian friend. You noticed that quite well.
Yeah.
So,
I feel
Managed
like there's going
to-
to be a few more of these.
you start to pick your way around the pit and continue on ahead of you. You carry on travelling for another couple of hours. You spotted along the route there's been another couple of traps. Now that you're looking out for them, you can see that there's been sort of like tripwires set up, another couple of sort of spike pits, but a lot of them appear to have either completely rotted away or just fallen into disrepair in what is an incredibly damp and humid environment. From the looks of things, had they been fully functional, they could have been dangerous. Even in the state they are, they could have given you something nasty, but they're nowhere near as lethal as they were clearly designed to be. So yeah, a few more hours pass by, and you find yourselves sort of in a very, very thick part of the jungle. It's completely stopping any further progress. So you've come to a bit of a halt, and Six Waves is looking down at his notes and he's sort of scratching his head, and he goes, cannot seem to find any further direction. Bear with me, my friends. I will consult my notes and see if I can get us out of this. He goes and sits over on a fallen log and just starts leafing through his notes and sort of muttering to himself.
Up and see whether I can see anything.
Yes, certainly, my friend. If you could give us an aerial view, that would be most useful.
Do you want again? Do you want a survival check?
Yeah, I'd say survival with advantage, because you know specifically what landmark you're looking for now, and you've got awareness of where it is relative to you. Tidy.
While he's doing that, can I use Druidcraft to see what the weather's going to be doing in the next 24 hours?
I've got you covered there, bro. I've got you covered there.
I was going to say, we've got a stone, we don't need that.
For fuck's sake.
Okay, so come back to your survival check in a second. Relaxio, you pull out the Stone of Weather Watching whilst Lours is casting Druidcraft.
Yep.
You notice that whilst the stone is initially dry, it immediately becomes quite clammy, and small droplets of water appear on the side, indicating that the weather right now is going to be pretty humid and doesn't show any signs of changing.
Okay.
Lours, you're if you just read me the description for Druidcraft, please.
You create a tiny, harmless sensory effect that predicts the weather at your location 24 hours. It might manifest as a golden orb for clear skies, cloud for rain, falling snowflakes. So this persists for 1 round. Or
Cool.
whatever that is, 6 seconds.
That's fine. So yeah, so take a moment and just try and commune with spirits of the forest. You hear nothing back.
Don't look stupid now, does it?
I think the stone might be right.
You
This
need to
almost
spell when you
never
could have just had a
happens.
rock.
So, if we go back to James, whilst you're up in the air, you can see that the mountain is much closer now, maybe sort of an hour's worth of travel away. But looking down, you can't see anything through the canopy. It is utterly impenetrable on there. You
Not
know which
technically,
direction to go in, but you just can't see any obvious path to get to it.
Okay. It's not. Is jungle separate to forest? I can't remember. Or is there enough of it that I could still get advantage moving through it?
You'd get advantage moving through sort of a vegetative area, but given how oppressive and close all of the branches are, you would move through just with. You would gain advantage and disadvantage at the same time, so you would just move through it. You move through it certainly easier than the others because you're familiar with how to move through a forested area, but it's still, even for you with your experience, it's still heavy going.
Okay. So there's no way that I can see a path as I'm above the canopy then?
No, so from above the canopy, the leaves and vines are just knitted together into this incredibly thick, almost opaque ceiling over there. You can just about make out the clearing where you stopped and flew up, but around you, you can't really see the path you've come from, and you know which direction to go in, but you can't see any obvious route to it from where you are.
His pal and his blow everything up with fire when you need it. Okay. Can I fly towards it, see whether I can actually, I don't know, see anything useful from where I am? So I was just sort of go there and back.
So the mountain itself is going to be about an hour's travel, so that's going to be 2 hours.
Hour of flight?
Yeah.
What's that like to be walking?
Walking, probably about 2 hours.
2 hours walking. Alright, I'll go back down and tell everyone what I've seen and ask if they want me to carry on. Right, and scout out what I've seen in the forest or not.
What
Well, you
sort of
can't-
time of day is it?
You can't really see anything from the top, so
No, but if I can sort of go forward a bit and then drop down and see whether I can see the path, it'll take
It's
longer
like
to
half
get
8 or
there.
something.
So time-wise, right now, you're probably looking at about... I'd say it's probably closing up on about midday. You started reasonably early in the morning, and you've had a couple of hours of travel through the jungle.
I'll do time, so I'll go above the canopy, fly forwards a bit, and then drop down where I think the path is, and just to see whether there's any sort of sneaky fuckers lying in wait, or just anything help, I guess. Any sort of a route or whatnot.
Cool.
While he's
So-
doing that, can I gather herbs?
Yeah,
Or
certainly.
anything else I find?
Yeah, that's fine. Make me a survival check. Actually, no, just call it a nature check. No, wait. Gathering herbs for what purpose? Sorry.
Just anything
Just
that I
look-
don't
just-
recognise, just to look at, and anything I do recognise for reagents.
Cool. Okay, so we'll call this a survival check because you're not just like randomly grabbing bits and pieces. You're collecting with a specific
Oh
purpose.
shit.
Whilst-
11.
Yep. So that's fine. I'd say you gather up. You really only gather up the ones that you can recognise or are close enough to what you are familiar with to pull up. Whilst you're doing this, and whilst James has gone scouting ahead, Magemak. The previous night, whilst you guys were partying on the islands, you befriended a small sort of flying lizard. Kind of looks like a snake with reptile wings. And at this point, it pops out of your robe. Your snake pops out of your robe.
Hey.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And it sort of flits around and looks at both you and Relaxio. and then
Nice.
drops down and
birdie.
starts scuttling towards a bush. And it's sort of sniffing around. It's sort of moving its head side to
That's
side. And it's just sniffing at this one patch of foliage, and then it kind of looks back at you both and sort of scuttles back over and crawls back up onto your shoulder and starts sort of. It will not take its gaze off this one patch of foliage.
Come on, then, Atticus. What is it? Let's go.
Do any of us notice this?
Yeah, so you guys noticed this when Magemak sort of domesticated this thing. So as part of, just to step outside the game just a second, everyone's hit level 3. As part of that, Magemak now has a familiar. So
You cut out that one. Magemak has what?
Magemak now has a familiar,
Familiar.
which
Yeah,
is
right.
it's this little, essentially like a snake with little reptile wings.
It's not creepy.
And it's not creepy at all. But then again, he is a warlock. So you guys sort of all noticed him sort of making friends with this creature at the parties the previous night, and you kind of adopted it almost like a group mascot at this stage.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh,
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
let's
So
go.
w-
Let's go check that bush
Come on,
out.
okay. Let's go and have a look.
Should
So
we,
you-
should we
So we hobble
probably-
over and lean in and sort of like spread the bushes.
Cool. So as there's a group of you doing that, can you all make me an investigation check, please?
Oh no.
Oh,
Me as
no.
Me
Is
as
that
well.
everybody?
James, have you
he's
done
not
your
back,
done your
is he?
scouting run and come back at this point?
Did you get an 18?
I'm presuming not.
Oh,
but that's
suck it.
I'll do it
Oh,
anyway, just
God,
to see
that's
what
awful.
happens.
I got-
I rolled a 3, so I don't think I'm finding anything anyway.
Yeah,
got
no,
a 21.
being airborne makes it difficult for you.
I got a
Nice.
22.
I got an 18.
Oh,
I got 20.
Nice.
I got 3.
20, 21, and 22. That's good.
So, with the exception of Bagerac, who's kind of just like absent-mindedly swinging his morning star into the bark of a tree just to make a dent and just laugh at it, and Lours, who's off busy. Lours is off busy picking flowers. James is still flitting around. The rest of you sort of notice that the little flying snake has kind of bothered this, and as you start looking around, you start to find little sort of chunks of paving slab under the bush, and as you dig further and further through, it becomes more and more dense and starts to show the remains of a paved road, in effect.
We go in then.
Huh.
I'll just start walking down the path.
Hey, you guys found something?
Six Waves looks up from his notes and goes, "Huh? There is something?"
We found a patio.
Like,
I'm hiding gently in a tree.
we found someone's back garden.
Fantastic, I had-
There's,
Mate.
there's some tastefully arranged shrubbery and the rattan effect bench if you're interested.
This is magnificent. I had no idea they were so into interior design. And starts making notes
Picking up
about the
rattan furniture.
starts making notes about the potential for the followers of Merrshaulk to have enjoyed a wine terrace. As
Wine
you
terrace, say?
start following this, it becomes more and more obvious that this is a constructed road leading through the jungle. As you start to clear away some of the overgrowth, it then starts to open out, and going becomes a lot easier because you're walking on effectively a very old path at this stage. Looking up, you can see absolutely nothing is coming through. There is just a very dim light that's making its way through the canopy at this stage. James, you would have noticed that as part of your sort of aerial survey, you've seen the group sort of get up and start to wander off. Six Waves have sort of looked up at you and started just waving his arms to try and signal you to come back down. And as you do, you join up with the group and follow them along this path.
I
getting
keep an
fed
eye
as
out for
well.
traps?
I will follow along.
Cool. So sorry, Lours, you say you're keeping an eye out for traps.
Yeah, I'm really suspicious for traps now that whoever it was, Natasha or Bagerac, that found one.
Hey man.
I found it. He just set it off.
I just
Not
yeeted shit at
that
him.
Classic Bagerac.
Okay.
I've just seen on the thing what your HP is at as well, Bagerac. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll just send you ahead.
Yeah, put
of
him
everyone
first.
now.
Well,
You are the meat shield.
well, me and Magemak are still pacing off ahead at the
God,
front.
yeah, they're in
Cool.
front. Okay, I'm just gonna keep an eye from our
Being all
little group
creepy.
then.
Duff your little group.
So as you
Surely by now we'll have put together that they seem to know where they're going.
No,
Insight
'cause they
check.
lied to
We
you,
have,
Natasha,
we
if
have.
you
We have. I
believed it.
told you it was instinct.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
asked
they
them
told
as
us.
well,
My,
and they said it
my
is
familiar
yes.
found this path.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Trousers Snake found this.
Yeah, damn right, dude.
Robe
They
and a
seem
snake,
to know
snake and
where
his
they're
robe
going.
found this one. So as you make your way along this path, as I say, it's going is much easier. You carry on for maybe another hour, 2 hours, and eventually you come to a much more open space. And in front of you is this enormous square stone archway with a large round stone covering the front of it. The archway is adorned with carvings of snakes, sort of working their way up. There is a relief on the lintel that shows a couple of snakes coiled around sort of humanoid figures, and one depiction in the centre of a large snake with 7 heads. The round stone covering the front of this archway has this enormous relief of like a cobra head with the sort of fins spread out, and it's bearing its fangs on there. And as you come into this clearing, Six Wave sort of looks forward and just sort of kind of drops his arms to his side and goes, "My friends, I think we have found it."
I have a really bad feeling about this place.
What have we found?
Lean in
So-
and
I guess
go
this
to
is
touch the cobra head.
There's just a bunch of odd statues.
Yeah, but I walk forward and I place my hand on the cobra head, giving it a
I
light
step
stroke.
back.
Okay,
mean-
so Relaxio and Magemak, as you walk forward to touch the cobra head, you suddenly feel your hand is just... Are you alright there, buddy?
Yeah.
Get it out.
Was it touching the head of the snake?
He was giving it a light stroke.
Okay.
Do you want me to distract Josh? I can show you jaws.
Oh god, carry on. Just move on.
Leave him. He's as good as dead.
Just mute him and move on.
So as you reach out and you touch the cobra head, you feel that your hand is just fixed on this now, and your body entirely just goes rigid. And without you saying to do so, you speak the words, "The abyss welcomes the faithful." Then all of a sudden you're released from this grip and you both fall backwards onto the floor. And the stone itself rolls across to the side,
Ah, what a
revealing
relief.
a dark tunnel behind it.
Stop it.
He is gone.
You've broken him.
I made a sexy temple.
So,
Sorry, I won't stroke any more snakes.
Oh,
So,
no one else think this is weird.
okay.
can I
I
Can-
definitely think this is weird.
can
It's
I
not the
just
Temple of Tom, is it?
I'm starting to feel a high amount of excitement and adrenaline, and I keep
Did we notice that happening, or was that like an?
Oh
in their
yeah,
head
you
thing
saw
that
these
they sort of
guys
heard that?
basically stride forward, almost zombie-like, and say the abyss welcomes the faithful in unison with one another, with just no tonality to their voice, just completely robotic.
Would it maybe have like an abyss?
Yeah, sure. Throw some snake flare in if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Extra
Oh my
S's where they
God,
need
it's
to be.
bloody castle tongue.
I take
Fire.
it, do we know these guys are like the anti-purebloods or?
So you've
Well, I'm
been
starting to
familiar
piece
with
it
them.
together.
I was going to say you'd have been familiar with them, like having slightly snaky features to them. They've always, they've got
Of
both of
course,
them have got
they've
dark
got
orange.
scales and stuff,
Yeah,
haven't
both of them
they?
have got dark orange skin. Their eyes are slightly reptilian in appearance. They've got like a slight sort of vertical
They've
pupil
both got big heads.
going on.
I'll just go say to these guys then. Okay, cards on the table, guys. What is this place? You guys know a lot more than you guys are telling us. I have a bad feeling about this place.
This is as Sixwise said, this is the Temple of Merrshaulk.
And
that means something to you.
He's an ancient
Yeah.
god. An ancient god of our people.
Is he your god?
Is this something we should be worried about?
Where do you want to live?
We did warn you it was a bad idea.
I'm starting to believe you.
Whilst you're talking about this, Six Waves has already started to light a lantern and make his way towards the archway and having a look inside. It's like magnificent. These reliefs on the wall are they detail the ceremonial practices. I must get my notes. And he sets the lantern down, and screws back over to his pack, and starts rifling through for a notepad and a pencil.
Can I cast Detect Magic as a ritual while he's doing that?
Yeah, certainly.
It takes 10 minutes, but
That's fine. So you sit down.
Does that count as a short rest? How long is
It
a
would
short
consider it a
rest,
short rest. Yes. Yeah.
Can I prepare? What's it called? Fuck, I've lost it now.
One of your formulas.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
here
The
we go.
formula of seduction.
Natasha's already got that.
She has, man. She's been peddling it the whole time.
Night Eye is what I'm gonna do.
What do you think my Deathloop is?
Cool.
Oh, God.
So
Why
for
do you-
those,
Why
for the people that haven't,
on my shield?
for the people that weren't keeping up, so Blood Hunters at 3rd level gain access to their order. Faye is of the Order of the Mutant, which gives her access to certain alchemical formulas that she can use to modify her physical appearance. So, so you're making Formula of the Night Eye. Can you describe that for us, please?
Yes, so obviously when I do a short or long rest, I create these formulas and then it is an action to drink it. With this particular one, I will gain dark vision for up to 60 feet. But unfortunately, it gives me a side effect and then makes me sensitive to sunlight.
Okay. Fortunately, there
All
isn't
of these
sufficient
things
sunlight
always
coming
make me
through.
happy.
Yeah, fortunately, there isn't sufficient sunlight coming through to cause an issue for you. So immediately, you can see a little bit further into the tunnel ahead.
I mean, I have dark vision anyway.
Six Waves has gone back to the lantern to start making notes. As he's doing this, Lours, we're coming to the end of your ritual. And for the first few minutes, nothing. Next few minutes, nothing much. And just as you're beginning to conclude the ritual, you feel this immediate surge coming from the temple. And it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then all of a sudden, the ritual ends.
I will just relay that to whoever's closest to me again. I'm guessing probably still Natasha or Bagerac.
Hi.
There is a lot of powerful magic coming from here. I have no idea what it is. Or do I actually?
You can't
Can you tell
identify
them?
it. You can
okay.
sense something, but because of how close the end of the
Okay.
ritual was, you weren't able to get a fix on exactly what was going
It felt
on.
like it was getting stronger over the time.
Yeah, so you could feel it building, but you only detected it towards the end of the ritual.
Okay.
So Six Waves is there, he's just making his notes, and he's sort of looking up and lifting the lantern, looking up at the walls, sets the lantern down. That's making notes. As he looks
Does that
back over...
normally would that mean like a distance thing, Lours? Would that like the fact that you only felt that right towards the end of the ritual that it took a long time to find the magic? Does it work in that way? Like, is it
Well,
a wave?
I can only tell 30 feet. It felt like there was nothing there, and then it
And then
just
suddenly there.
built up. And
So it's not
I
like
don't know if it's the fact that
found something.
I don't know if it's the fact that my spell ended, or it could still be building. I guess.
Okay.
I've never seen this magic before.
I sense a disturbance in the force.
As you're discussing this, you suddenly hear a scream from the entrance to the temple. And you see that Six Waves is sort of lying flat on his stomach, trying to sort of pull himself out of the tunnel. Clamped around his waist is a huge clawed hand covered in blistered green skin. And as you look over, you just see him being dragged back into the tunnel, screaming as he goes.
Can I try
And then
grab
there's
him?
silence.
Or is it too quick?
It's too quick. What happens in a matter of like 2 seconds. You literally...
Is
You
that
see...
Six Waves?
Six Waves, yeah, you just see him being dragged into the temple.
We just got to split this
Do we
floating
see by what?
All that you saw was a large clawed hand covered in blistering green skin.
We've got to help
Throw
him.
an egg.
And I start carefully trying to go in, just have a look, see if there's anything dangerous onto the tunnel, and try and make my way inside.
Okay.
I'll follow. I can see now.
Who amongst you have dark vision?
Yes.
Me.
Yep.
Definitely not me.
Yeah.
Me now.
Okay, I'll make it a little bit
Yeah,
clearer.
it's one of the
Can I
only
just...
species other than humans that doesn't.
So, who does not have dark vision?
I do not.
I do
I
not.
do not.
Okay. So you guys will need to
No, I
grab some of the lanterns that were with the equipment to proceed any
Or you
further.
could like hold on to my elbow if you want. Like,
I think that might be a good idea.
Your
I think
dark
we go
vision...
in quietly.
Yeah, dark vision only increases the level at which you can see in the dark. So it's not night vision. Basically means that you can see in low light as if it was daylight. But when it goes completely dark, you will still need a light source. But you'll just need a much
I'm not
smaller
going to
light
walk
source.
into shit, basically. But
Yeah.
You're not necessarily like seeing it. Like
Can I just sort of hang on to somebody with dark vision, whoever's nearest Faix or
Yeah, that's fine.
Bagerac?
So basically what I'm going to do
Oh,
is
yeah,
I'm
why
going
don't you
to...
just-
Go ahead, sorry.
Dunno.
Oh.
You
Can I
can't
be-
stop. Did you say anything?
Can I be cheeky and draw my pack weapon at this point?
Yes, certainly you can prepare your packed weapon.
So I'm going to magically bring a dagger into life, and it's going to come directly from my hand. Essentially, like Assassin's Creed.
Sassy, I knew, yes. I was...
And it's in my left hand. That's it. I'm ready. And then I'm going to slowly start walking into the mouth of the tunnel.
I would like to try and encourage everyone to go quietly, and I would like to cast Pass Without Trace.
I'm going to say, did you say the
Ooh.
lanterns at the front? Because I'll
Okay.
grab one of them before I head in.
I'm gonna grab a lantern.
Yeah, there's a few
Can
so
I-
you've all brought lanterns with you
Ew, I
from
should have picked
the
Gloom Hunter.
equipment.
I'll send my familiar ahead to try and scout out in preparation.
Okay, thank you.
I
Okay.
think we need to be quiet.
So you're making a you
It's easy for you,
casting
so-
Pass Without Trace gives everyone a +10 bonus to stealth checks.
Yeah.
Which is
Nice.
fine.
Fucking hell.
What the fuck?
So, and Magemak, you said you were going to send your familiar Atticus in to go and take a look.
Yeah.
Cool.
Will he gain the buff
It's-
as well?
Anyone within 30 feet of me.
Yeah. So if we.
So
if I-
gain it as long as he remains within 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
so-
creature within within 30 feet of me gets.
So if he goes out of the 30 feet, will he still have the stealth afterwards?
No.
No. I mean, it doesn't say either way, but I would assume it goes.
If out of shadows and silence radiates from you, asking you and your companions for direction for the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you has a +10 bonus to dexterity checks and can't be tracked except by magical means.
There we go.
Creature that
So,
receives that this bonus leaves behind no trails. Okay.
okay. So, you've cast Pass Without Trace on the group. Atticus has flown off ahead. You see him
Yeah.
disappear into the tunnel.
My
You've got to
trousers
make a
fake.
stealth check.
A few moments later, comes back and just rests on your shoulder, and
You've
it
got to
can't
check
really
Cheryl's throw or
talk
whatever
to
it
you, but you get you get a sense that it can't see anything. It's not immediately responding to any kind of threat
Mhm.
in there.
Let's keep moving then, guys.
Cool. So
Isn't anything.
as you're moving in,
Are we
who's
feeling
going in
stealthy?
first?
I'm gonna walk forward first with my dagger in hand.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk slightly behind Relaxio.
Okay.
I'm just going to attach to whoever it is that arm I'm holding.
I'm
Yeah,
cling
me
on
and
to
Lours
the
will be sort of in the middle somewhere.
I'm cling onto the robes of Lours. I'll just cling onto the robes of Lours and just
Okay. So who's
So,
bringing
I've
up the
formed
rear?
a conga.
I'll be at the back with the lantern.
Okay.
You lit a lantern.
Yeah.
You've got night vision.
So
Dark vision even.
now it's like daylight. Great.
So as you move into the tunnel, and Bagerac comes in through the last one in, you hear a rumbling behind you as the stone circle rolls back across and covers the entrance, pitching the entire tunnel into complete darkness.
Does
Bet
anyone
you're
know
glad
what
I
that
bought
was?
a lantern now. Yeah.
That was the closing door, my friend.
Relaxio, you immediately feel one of the stone slabs under your feet just give and drops a couple of inches. And you can hear a clicking and whirring noise coming from the wall. I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh no.
Right.
God, I knew I was.
Do I get advantage on
correct.
this? 'Cause I have danger sense. Which
You
is
do,
against
yes. Yep.
traps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, is it save?
Oh,
Exclamation
no.
So
save.
it's a dexterity save. So for those of you using the Avro bot, exclamation save dex.
11.
Oh, I just did a
Nice.
dex
I
check.
still
How do
got
I
a
do-
fucking 8 with advantage.
Wow.
How do I do a dexterity save?
Exclamation mark save dex, and that's
Oh, okay.
probably for the best.
Yeah. It still doesn't matter. I still got the same thing. I still got a 3.
I
Oh my
rolled a
god,
20.
we're getting so bad.
Okay,
I rolled
so
a 20, Tom.
Natasha got 11, Bagerac got an 8, Relaxio got a 20, Magemak got a 3, Lours, what did you get?
3.
3, Faye,
Why does that say 20k H1?
because you...
I got 19.
Okay. You got 19, excellent. And
It's
James?
kill 1, isn't it? I think he's. Gone
He's
somewhere.
back.
Oh, no,
He's
he's
coming.
back. Just lagging.
Just... He's got his headset on, so. Give me a second. And there he is.
There we go.
Hey.
Where did we lose you, James?
You just make this dex save.
I need to make my dex save, okay.
Yeah.
Save, is that a C again?
exclamation
Yes.
save, space dex.
I was worried I'd done the wrong
Wow, well
mutation
done.
there for a second. but-
Oh.
Okay,
Yes, it's a
so
room activity.
everyone who got less than a 10.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So
Wait,
Shit.
let them
Well,
let them know what.
The people that are hanging on to me, like, do they get any sort of like bonus from my saving
Unfortunately
throw?
not,
Like, they can
no.
react-
Oh,
Ah,
So
You just drop them.
can't
You're like, I'm
damn.
done.
roll. Get your own. I know your roll.
everyone who got less than a 10, you get hit with a series of darts from the wall,
Oh shit!
and you
Oh,
take
no.
7 points of poison damage.
Ooh.
These
I'm
boys and their
immune.
immunity.
I'm immune to poison.
So you take nothing.
Well done.
Wow,
Hey.
It's almost like
this is some Temple of Doom shit.
it's
here.
almost like we were born for this.
Mhm.
Almost.
Maybe
Oh,
Maybelline.
concentration, aren't I?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are we carrying on?
Or take your damage, bitches.
I take it I need to roll for concentration on that.
You will do, yes, yeah, if you're taking damage.
Come on. Oh, that's alright. I think 13.
13, you're fine.
Thank fuck.
Oh, so
So-
you didn't take damage. What?
We did, but
No,
So-
I took damage, but like
If you're casting a spell with concentration, anytime you
Oh,
take
okay,
damage,
yeah,
you
yeah,
need
yeah,
to make
gotcha,
a
gotcha, gotcha.
Constitution save to check to make sure that you can still maintain concentration on the spell. So even though you've taken a couple of poison darts to the side, you are still able to maintain the Pass Without Trace aura around the party.
Well done, Lours.
So as you move
Good
forward
effort.
with the lantern light to guide you, the tunnel opens up into a large rectangular space. Magemak and Relaxio being at the front, you notice that immediately after you exit the tunnel there's about 10 foot of solid ground and then it drops into a pit. And looking around you can see that this is big rectangular space, big rectangular pit in the middle, and about a 10-foot wide path running right the way around the outside with an opening on the far side of the room.
Can I just look over the edge of the pit and see what's down there?
Yeah, certainly. Make me an investigation check, please.
Why not just fly into the pit and have a look?
Can I do the same?
You guys who are looking into the pit, that's fine. James, given the ceiling in here is probably quite low, you haven't really got enough room to get like a good lift and get off the ground.
Tom, I rolled a 6.
I got a 9.
Cool.
Damn.
I can't
Can
see
I
shit,
can
so I'm
I
not really
cast
looking.
fairy fire into the pit, please?
You
We're
certainly.
not using a spell slot for that.
Sorry,
We're not using a spell slot for that.
I am.
Ballsy.
So, as you
Interesting tactic, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
So, the two Snake Brothers, as you lean over to the pit, you can't see anything until all of a sudden Natasha's fairy fire goes off. What
colour
colour
is it?
What colour is
Ow.
it?
Seeing spots and you can't see anything
It
at
is
all.
a
Ew.
violet light.
Well
Okay.
done.
So looking down into the pit, what you can now see is basically just a glowing, writhing pit filled with snakes.
So,
And in the centre,
This is Temple of Doom.
It definitely is.
and in the centre, you can see a small
Harrison Ford.
chest, maybe about foot square.
That's fucking loads. I fucking told you.
And that's where we're going to take a break.
Right.
Take a
Oh.
break.
Cool. So,
Should or should
go
I throw
take
Natasha at it?
go take care of everything you
I
need
was gonna
to.
say,
We'll
still on a rope.
so yeah, if you guys go take care of everything you need to, we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Right, welcome back. Okay, so to recap, we've got Relaxio and Magemak looking into a pit that is currently filled with snakes glowing purple due to fairy fire, and there is a small chest in the centre of the pit.
I think we should lower someone in.
I vote for Natasha, as she's the smallest.
I can't. I've got no rope. I'm so sorry.
I've
Maybe
got
we should
rope.
ask the people who can talk
Don't
to
worry.
snakes. Is there anybody here who can actually talk to snakes?
Yeah, that's a good idea, to be fair.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
What about the poison immune guy from the Poison Dart event here?
Oh yeah. You
relax-
mean Magemak?
Magemak, I assume, can.
What?
Do your
Yeah,
thing.
I'll go down.
Can I just do it? Can you just check? Can I just check how deep the pit was again, Tom?
So now that everything is glowing, you can see that the pit itself is probably about 15 foot deep.
Alright, so we've got 50 foot of rope, so we're good.
So we
Let's
just
say
lower
15.
it. So it's only a small pit then.
It's not overly deep. Like you could, I was going to say,
I mean, I can
You'd
reach
struggle to
halfway,
jump out of
basically.
Can I just jump in?
Should we not like put a rope around you before you do that, and then we can pull you out?
Nope, I don't want to take any risks.
Jump in.
That treasure's mine. So
Ooh.
No, it's not quite that simple.
Come in.
Not before I get to it.
Oh my god, he just ran in.
it's 15 foot. I feel like I could survive that.
okay.
I hope you take the damage.
15 foot is.
15 foot. It's about the house.
Yeah,
It's like
I
1
mean,
foot for 15 times.
Thank you for explaining maths to me. What I'm really getting at is, do you realise that it actually is very high?
Yeah, but this is a magical world.
So you're jumping into the pit.
I'm jumping in. Yeah, I'm doing it.
I'm
Okay.
gonna race him.
So, can you, first of all, make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Both of us, or
Whoever's jumping in.
17.
8.
Okay. Relaxio,
Mm-hmm.
you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you whiff your landing.
Perfect.
Magemak, you don't take anything. You manage to successfully, like, sort of, as you jump in, you kind of manage to position your landing to sort of, well, not like superhero landing, but you certainly don't stack it quite as badly as your brother does.
Parkour.
Parkour!
Wait,
So, guys, if they don't share the treasure, we don't help them get out the pit, right?
I mean, can I actually see them? Because I don't know how far Badger's lantern goes. 'Cause I can't see shit without that lantern. I don't know if it gets.
Between,
I don't know
I'd
how far
say,
lan-
between the illumination you've got from the lanterns and the glowing snakes in the pit, you can quite easily see what's going on down there.
Okay.
Okay.
Guys,
So,
Whilst
are you
Relaxio is
okay?
regaining himself, I'm gonna run ahead.
so Relaxio,
Mm-hmm.
as you land, the snakes immediately start rearing up and whipping round on you. The group dives in and bites at your ankles, and you take 6 points of piercing damage.
Oh, lovely. Okay, done.
Another group attacks you on the other leg.
Oh no.
You take 8 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
oh
Done.
god.
And I also need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Um, 22.
Okay.
Ow.
So
That was
as
a nat 20, by the way.
as both groups of snakes bite into your calves, you can feel them pumping venom in. You can feel it being pumped in, but your body just sort of metabolizes it straight away.
Poison immunity, baby.
Magemak, with your landing, you don't disturb them quite as much. They seem to be relatively ignoring you. What are you doing?
I'm running toward the treasure.
Okay.
The chest.
The chest.
Yeah, is this like a big treasure chest sort of thing, or is
The
this
treasure
like a
chest
small chest.
itself is, so it's probably about a foot across. Probably
Okay,
sort of,
so it's a little...
8 or 9 inches deep. It's only a small chest that's in there. So, Magemak, you've grabbed the chest. You can pick it up quite easily, but it's a fairly bulky shape. So even though it's not overly heavy, you do need both hands on it to lift it.
Can I
We throw a rope. We throw a rope down, you
Well-
tie it round, and we pull it out, and
Well,
then you come with it.
Right, let's see what is in the chest first.
Alright.
Maybe you should pull us out first.
Well, I don't know.
throw-
Someone wanted to
throw a
hold
rope.
all of it.
I'm
to
pretty happy
themselves.
to open the chest with the snakes, to be honest.
Are you guys okay down there?
What? I can't hear you over all this hissing.
See, your brother was happy to see, like, not share whatever's in the chest, so I think we should open it before we let him out.
I've got the chest.
Exactly. But are you willing
I
to share?
I throw a rope down to Alexia.
Thanks. I appreciate that, mate.
I-
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Just try and brace it somewhere. Let's get him out first.
I want to open the chest while I'm down here.
I shall tie the rope round my waist, then. Thank you, Lours.
I will try and pull him
I
out.
will help Laws pull him out.
Oh God!
Between
Can
the
I
two,
help you?
between the two of you, you're easily able to lift him back out of the pit.
Cool.
Magemak is opening the chest in the pit. We'll have to throw the rope back down to him.
Yeah, once we untie Alexia, I'll throw it back down towards Magemak
Mage.
and the mass of illuminated snakes.
Okay.
Having a rave in the violet light.
Yeah.
This is gonna be my face when I open up the chest. It's gonna be like,
Yeah,
So-
The
you're
Ark of the
opening-
Covenant.
Did you
So
say
Mage
you're
Mac,
opening your chest
you're-
down there, then?
Magemak, you're in the bottom of the pit with the chest and the snakes.
my,
You got a
my
rope.
homie snakes.
You got a rope coming down towards you. What are you doing?
I'm opening the chest, bro.
Okay. Make me a dexterity sleight of hand check, please. As you try to open it, you realise that it is locked, but there is a keyhole on the front.
So is it exclamation mark slight?
If you're using the Avray bot to make the roll, exclamation mark C space slight.
16.
What the
Nice.
fuck?
16. What are you using to open it with?
Let me have a look in my equipment.
Don't suppose anyone's got any tools.
I've got a mace.
Let's put a pin in that one for now, but sure.
I've got my thief's tools. I'm gonna use them.
You have
Cool.
a small knife as well, yeah.
He's got the thief's tools.
Oh, that's even better.
Nice, that'll do.
Okay, so with that dice roll, you quite easily pop the lock on the
Oh no.
This is gonna
On
be
the
my
chest.
face. To open the chest.
It's gonna be another snake.
As you open it, you hear the lock, and the mechanism looses. As soon as it does, you feel fangs coming in at your legs.
Get off your little shits.
The first bite does 9 points of piercing damage to you.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm doing it on here, aren't I?
Press 9, then damage.
Oh, in the chat.
No,
on
just
your
do it on
sheet.
your sheet.
Put 9 in the box and press damage, and it will take it off your hit points.
Yep.
The second set of fangs comes in and does 8 points of damage to you.
Nom nom nom. Yeah.
I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
This is not going to go well. 7.
Seven.
7. So again, you feel the venom pump into your legs, but your body just eats it up on there. The snakes are far more riled up now that the chest is open. You can see them moving around, and a few of them are sort of arcing up, ready to strike at you.
Suddenly, tying a rope around that chest seems like a good idea.
I sort of stage whisper to him, grab the rope.
So I look up and just grab the rope. I haven't got time to tie it around myself.
Kick the chest open as you go up.
He's still holding it, isn't he?
Are we? Yeah. Are we between us strong enough to get him and the chest?
Yeah, I'd say that with the number of you that are already out there, you're strong enough to haul him up and out.
I think so.
Okay.
It's literally all I'm good for.
Cool.
So
as you lift him up, the snake starts snapping and biting, trying to get at the retreating form of Magemak, but with a couple of steps and a decent haul on the rope, you manage to get him out of harm's way. So you're now out of the pit. You've got the chest, it's unlocked. The latch is still holding the lid closed. You haven't been able to open it, so nothing's spilled out on your way up and out.
So we don't know what's in it yet.
No, you haven't looked inside but yet.
I'm going to take a couple steps back if he's going to open it.
I'll take a couple steps forward.
Baller.
I'm basically going to try and open it instead of him.
Okay, so Faye, you're going to try and open the chest.
Yeah.
The chest was unlocked now.
I'm going to stand with shield up ready.
Unlocked, yes.
Right.
Have I still got it in my hand? Am I still holding it? Because no one said otherwise.
Well, you can still be holding it when Faye tries to open it. That's your choice. Or you can set it
Can
down and let her try.
Can I drop a healing word on Relaxio?
Yeah, certainly.
Your hit points, Relaxio.
What they are? 9.
And Magemak for that matter. And Magemak for that matter.
5 back from healing word.
Thank you very much.
I haven't got cure wounds. I don't know.
Got cure wounds, so I can. But yeah, I'll cast cure wounds on Magemak. Well, how many hit points have you both got?
I've got 14 now.
Magemak's got 7.
Magemak's got 7. Alright, I will cast cure wounds.
Nice.
10 healing.
Dang.
Points back. That is nearly the maximum that I can give.
That is good.
Okay. So, what's happening with the chest then?
I'm opening it. It's in my
I'm
hands.
opening it.
Okay, so
I'm
between
trying to take it off him to open it.
just so I got the order of operations in my head. Magemak, you've been pulled out. You've been healed. You're still holding the chest. Are you going to set it down and let Faye help you open it, or are you just going to open it yourself?
I'm just going to open it myself.
Because Faye's going to try and open it whilst you're still holding it.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm almost like trying to snatch it off him.
I'm
Okay.
just going to keep an eye out for shenanigans of someone trying to steal whatever's in there.
Okay, both of you make me a dexterity sleight of hand check. We'll see who opens it. Whoever rolls highest.
Fuck.
Or is
I've
it
been
just
doing
sleight
so
of hand
well
again?
with
Is it
that.
the same one? But I've already done my sleight of hand check.
You did a sleight of hand check to unlock it. That's
Okay, so is it dex?
So if you're doing it in the Avre bot, again, exclamation C space sleight.
15.
No, I
15.
got 10.
Okay. So Faye, you reach out to try and open the to try and swipe open the chest, but Magemak's just a little bit clear. And as you open the chest, in the light from the lanterns that you've got with you, you are almost blinded by an enormous pile of gold, silver coins in the chest. There's a couple of little gemstones in there as well. As you do this, you hear from the opening on the far side of the room a fairly wailing scream of Six Waves in quite clear distress.
Stuff that guy.
Leave
Not what
him.
I wanted.
Can I get to the other side?
You can quite easily walk around. Let's say the walkway around the pit is about 10 foot, 10 foot wide.
I'm going to follow Lours round.
Yeah, we gotta save him.
Yeah, ditto.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna pocket all this money and then move.
I haven't got it. I've got pockets.
Put it in my backpack then, whatever. Okay.
So
He just straps the chest
Can I-
to himself.
Can I sleight of hand the gemstone?
Sea of Thieves style.
you can certainly try. It'd be your dexterity
Right.
sleight of hand versus Magemak's
If
perception.
if this is before I
I was
leave,
gonna
I want to try and see
Yeah, I
him
was
do
gonna say-
it because I was trying to keep an eye on it. Unless I've
23.
already gone.
I don't
Cool.
think I should bother. No,
Dennis, you rolled
16.
really well. You just got no modifier.
So yeah, Natasha, whilst Magemak's closing the chest, you kind of go, "Oh, look at that!" and managed to swipe out of the chest 5 blue quartz gems.
Wicked.
How much gold have I taken?
Have
out
I
then?
already gone, or could I see him do that?
Make me a perception check, please.
Does it still have to beat my?
It'd have to be a 23 to notice.
Jesus. Okay. 18.
You did not notice.
All right. With that, then I'm going to just take off towards the stern of Six Waves.
Okay. So, as you make your way round the room, Magemak carrying his new best friend chest, you can hear the snakes sort of writhing and hissing at the bottom of the pit. They're quite agitated and thoroughly pissed off that they can't get you and get their chest back. You make your way round the edge of the pit and you come to another stone archway, and there is light spilling out from this. As you step into the room, you can see that it is an open, fairly wide open space, and it's illuminated by there's some burning metal braziers in each corner. Along the far wall there are 4 low stone altars. On the one of the centre ones, the one on the left, you can see now unconscious and restrained is Six Waves. Standing over him is a giant bloated figure with sickly green skin. There are blisters all over. They've got their back to you, and you can just see there's just blisters all over them. This thing's got to be easily 15, 16 foot tall, and it's got little darts from the entrance sort of just pinning into its side. There's a sort of purple, almost like ichor kind of oozing out of some of the blisters and open wounds that it's got on it. It's standing over Six Waves, holding this huge ceremonial looking brass knife.
Brass,
you want to
did you
do?
say?
Yeah.
Can we?
I cast heat metal on the brass knife.
Okay.
Okay, I
That's
was
a
going to
good
try
one.
and sneak up, but sure.
I'm going to need you all to roll for initiative, please.
God damn it!
Yeah.
God damn it, man. Okay. Fuck's sake.
Are we
Bugger.
doing?
19. Yes.
Which one's initiative again? Is it C? Or
See
G?
initiative.
Oh, come on.
I got a 19. I got a nat 20, but
So, sorry,
get a
Natasha,
minus
what
one.
did you guess?
I got a 19.
19.
Got
Mage,
3 of us on 19.
Magemak, what did you get?
19.
I can't believe you got 19 on that 20.
Hang on, I was gonna say you rolled a nat 20.
He's got -1 modifier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll just go through the order for the rest of you then, please. So, Bagerac, what did you get, please? 19. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I swear you guys are cheating at some point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I reckon so. They've done the bot.
Faye, what did you get, please?
I got 6 because I suck at initiative.
Okay.
Is it as bad as -1 though?
Oh.
'Cause that's
No, I
really
got
bad.
+1. I just can't roll initiative.
Okay, James, what did you get?
16.
Cool. Magemak, I've already had yours. Relaxio, what did you get, please?
12.
12, thank you.
Bit slow to down,
And
remember?
Natasha, we've already got yours, haven't we?
Yeah,
I can
buddy.
beat M's. Natural 1.
Ah,
Laws got a natural 1.
friend.
What?
The spirit of Holy is living on.
Back 2 seconds.
It's alright, you got ages yet before your turn.
I think I'll be dead by my turn.
Okay.
I don't even notice there's a fight going on.
Yeah, you're barely aware of what's going on in
Ooh,
here.
glowing moss.
Okay.
Why are they running?
Where are these guys going?
Okay. So, first up, we've got Natasha, who you're casting heat metal.
I sure am. How am I doing this? Do I just hit cast, exclamation cast, heat metal?
Yep.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Alright.
Ouch.
Okay, so this creature takes 15 points of fire damage.
Whoa.
Jesus.
Nice.
So describe. So I take it you're casting heat metal on the
the
dagger,
knife.
on the
Yeah.
dagger they're holding. How exactly do you cast it? What with you being a formidable bard and focusing all of your spells through your instruments?
I use my octopipes of doom,
Up your way.
and I blow the melody of fuego.
So as the
Fuego, pyro, fuego.
as the terrible sound of the octopipes resonates through the chamber, you can see that the dagger that they've turned around and they're holding just starts to glow bright red. And now I believe they have to take is it Constitution check?
They have to do a Constitution saving throw, of 14. They've got to beat 14.
Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, they managed to beat it.
Okay, so they don't.
Okay,
what's it? Yeah, or
So
they're still
it's
holding
now
the-
got-
they're
yeah.
still holding the weapon, but
so it's now got disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of your next
my
turn.
next. Yep.
Okay, that's fine then. So, next up then. Sorry, any other movement, bonus actions, that sort of thing?
No, I'm stuck in concentration now, aren't I? So,
You are, yes, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna sit back and concentrate then.
You can still throw knife whenever you've got as a distance weapon at it.
Okay, so Bagerac, you're up.
How far away is the creature from us?
I'd say probably about 20 feet.
In that case, I will rage and then charge at it.
Fantastic.
Man.
And then go for a swing with the Morning Star.
Okay, if you roll me to hit, please.
need to? If he's raging, does he need to do something to rage and then attack it? Just for Avray, I mean.
No.
Don't worry about Avray. I'm just using it to track everything in the background.
12 to hit.
So 12. That
Just
misses,
shit with the rolls.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss.
Crap with the rolls.
You're doing fine. Don't worry. Okay. So,
That's what you get.
anything else from yourself?
That's what you get.
Nope. Nothing else I can do.
Cool. Okay. So, Magemak, you're up. James, you're up next.
I think switch the lights on. I just realised I'm sat in the dark.
Well done.
I'm
So, Magemak, what are you
gonna-
doing?
I'm gonna Eldritch Blast it in the face.
Cool. So, if you can roll me to hit, please.
There we go.
18 to hit, and I do brute force of 1 damage.
Fantastic.
Oh, Christ.
Hey, at least I hit it.
So, one damage.
That's great.
1 damage to this thing. As the Eldritch Blast goes off, it pings one of the larger boils on its face, which bursts. And Bagerac, you're still in base combat with it, aren't you?
No, I'm next to it.
You take 11 points of poison damage
That'll be
Take
half
that.
and
as you get
resistant.
splashed by poison from it. So yeah, resistance. So you take 5 points of poison damage. Okay. Anything else from you, Magemak? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. On the... It just says on Avray that it's damage 1d10, it just does 1. But on the thingy, it's 1d10 plus 3.
Oh
do
right,
four.
sorry. So it hasn't taken into account your arcane invocation. So yeah, on D&D Beyond it'll say 1d10 plus 3 because you get a bonus to it. I don't think Avray takes that into account. So yeah, so that's an additional 3 points of damage that you do to this critter.
But yeah, I'm not going to do anything else after that anyway.
Cool, that's fine. Okay, so next up then we've got James. Relaxio, you're on deck. So James, what are you doing?
Cast Hunter's Mark. So, an extra 1d6 of damage when I hit it.
Yep.
Obviously, if I hit it. And I am going to attack with my rapiers.
Okay, so you're doing 2 attacks with your rapiers.
Hopefully that I can cross the distance and attack with them. I've gone for 1 is 11, which hit or miss, mate.
So you roll to hit with an 11, sorry, was that? Okay, 11 misses. You are breaking up a little bit, dude.
Oh, okay, sorry. And I'm going to attack again.
Try killing the webcam. Might help with the audio.
Actually, that's a good
Oh,
idea.
I rolled a what? Yeah, I killed him. Kill the webcam for now. I rolled a 1, so
That is a
again.
critical miss. Yeah.
yeah.
You know what's less than 4? 0.
Cool. So, anything else from yourself?
I'm going to try and sort of shuffle a bit out of the way, like behind.
Okay, well, I'll say it's
Badge.
20 feet away from you when you came in, so we'd say 20 feet of movement to the target, and then you've got the rest of your movement to step away if you want.
I think I've only got 25 movement if I'm walking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
What I
you're
meant was I was trying to
moving-
hide behind Badger a bit.
Okay, so you're moving behind Bagerac.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
As you
in
do,
cover.
yeah, as you do that, it's going to take a opportunity attack against you. As it swings out with its claws. What's your AC?
I think it's 15. Yeah, 15.
Okay, that hits. So, you take 5 points of piercing damage. And 4 points of poison damage.
Ooh.
And you are poisoned until the start of this thing's next turn.
Dear. Okay.
Do we know what it is yet? Or was it just
I assume it's an abomination, but based on what Tom said, but
some sort of
don't.
creature?
It's a dirty bastard. That's what it is.
It's not a not in any way like orc or goblinoid thing, is it?
You'd have to try and identify it on your turn.
I mean,
Okay.
can't Sean with against them. That's the only reason I was asking. Part of my traits, I have favoured enemies.
Okay. I'd say based on that condition, you don't recognise it as one of those races.
Cool.
Okay, so next up we've got Relaxio. Faye, you're on deck after him. So, Relaxio, what are you doing?
So I'm going to cast Armour of Agathis.
Okay.
Cool.
So you gain an additional 10 hit points, and any attacks against you cause 10 cold damage to the user until those temporary hit points are used up.
So I'm just going to add the temporary hit points. There we go. And that's casted. And then I'm going to do a bonus cast or bonus action of Hexblade's Curse.
Okay. So you're casting Hexblade's Curse on this critter.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you you raise your Hexblade sickle up and point it at the target, you lock eyes with it and know that it's now become your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then
Any
I'm just going to
movement
move
from-
forward 10 foot, so I'm half the distance,
Yep, so you're about 10 foot away.
and I'm going to end there.
Cool. Okay. So, Faye, you're up.
How far away is it?
So you're about 20 feet away if you've just come in through the door.
Okay. I'm going to evoke Crimson Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to give my quarterstaff an extra 1d4 damage.
So,
Do that. I will take. That's a 6. What am I doing? I will take 3 damage.
okay, so you take 3 damage, and anytime you attack, your weapon deals an additional 1d4 of damage, so you roll a d4 every time you do damage.
Yeah.
Which Crimson Right did you have, was it? Sorry, was yours Right of the Storm?
Doesn't say. Doesn't give it a name.
If you have a look at your Primal Rights listing, it should list it on there. If I remember rightly, yours is Right of the Storm, which would mean you deal bonus lightning damage.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, it is Right of the Storm. You're right.
Excellent. Okay.
Is it? It's only to one of my 2 quarterstaffs, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, but I still attack with both. Do I get? Is it advantage on both of them because I'm proficient in dual wielding?
So because you're dual wielding, all it means is that you don't add your modifier to the second attack for damage. So you'd still get your Crimson if you.
I get my hit bonus on both of them, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you still get a bonus to hit with both of them. You just don't add any bonus damage from your dexterity or strength, whichever you use, on the second successful hit.
So 16 for one of them and 9 for the other.
Okay, so the first one hits, second one misses. Can you roll me some damage, please?
3 plus 3, so 6 damage.
So that's 6 damage from just the basic attack, and what's your bonus for your Rite of the Storm?
Oh, sorry. Hang on. No, sorry. It was 6 damage for that, and then so 9 in total.
9. Okay. So as you swing your... We'll just reverse the order because it makes more narrative sense. So the first swing misses, but then you bring the second quarterstaff up and just ram it straight into the bottom of its jaw. As it does, you see it bite through its own lip, and a spray of this thick purple ichor bursts out from its mouth. Both yourself and Bagerac. Who else is in base combat at the moment?
Lacey's behind me.
Hiding behind Badger.
You're within 5 feet, so all 3 of you take 7 points of poison damage.
Resistant.
Bagerac, yours is halved down to 3.
Then.
Oh yeah, poison damage. I don't think that's me, but I'll check.
Oh shit.
Okay. Faye, anything else on your turn?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, so it's now this thing's turn. So it's still holding this blazing hot dagger.
That means it takes damage.
It's still holding it.
I'm hoping
It's hot. It's not super hot. And it smiles as it jabs it into its own chest and rends a huge tear from top right to bottom left, creating this big diagonal slash across itself, and this enormous spray of this purple ichor blasts out from it. I need Faye, Bagerac, James, and Relaxio to all make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh my god.
Oh. What? What?
I got
Some people are dying.
9? For fuck's sake, this thing
Oh,
hates me
thank
tonight.
God. T.
I got 5.
I got 5.
I've got 9.
Oh no.
So,
This thing
anyone
hates me
that got
tonight.
less than 16 takes 19
that's so
points
high.
of poison damage.
Oh Jesus.
I'm immune to poison.
I'm down.
Would that be 9 for me then?
That would be, yeah, so that would be 9 for you.
I am so down.
Yeah.
All sorts.
I'd start taking death saves.
And you are now poisoned for 1 minute, so 10
Does
rounds.
poison affect me when I'm resistant or not?
You'd still be considered poisoned. Oh, sorry, do you have... No,
I'm
you
resistant
have...
while raging.
You're resistant to the damage, but not the condition.
Okay.
So
I
it's
didn't
still
know how
taking...
that worked.
Yeah, you shrug off the damage, but you've still got venom, like, in your veins that's affecting your actions. Okay. So, sorry, just make a note of this. So,
I really should have taken stock of how much damage it does before evoking Crimson Rite. Not that that would have saved me, but still.
So I took no damage and I'm immune to the poison condition.
you're immune to poison. Yeah, so you're immune to the whole thing. Okay, so Bagerac, just making a note of it here. Faye, you say Faye that you're downed as well.
Yeah, I'm on 0. I mean, technically, I would be on like -12.
Jesus.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
It hit me hard that one.
That was nasty. That thing.
Okay, and okay, so James, you were already poisoned, if I remember rightly, as well. Okay.
Well, I've saved the Constitution save, so I don't know if that makes any difference.
Oh,
Okay,
if you made the Constitution save, so you take half the damage, so you would take 8 points of damage. rather than 19.
I still take
That's
shit.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's a lot of damage.
You managed to beat a
That's a lot of
16 roll
damage.
and still
You
get
ta-
8
no,
damage.
sorry, my mistake. You take half damage. You're not poisoned, but you're already poisoned from previously.
Would I not have done a Constitution save from the last one then? Because the reason I was hiding behind so that I couldn't get hit, or at least would have disadvantage
you
on
hit
attack
it and
rolls.
It sprays out everywhere.
Yeah.
Didn't hit it. I missed twice.
Yeah, you're still poisoned.
When I tried to move out the way, it hit me.
Yeah.
It's
you were
fist
still
or
poisoned
whatever.
from the previous attack. So, next up, we've got Lours, and then Natasha, you're on deck. So, Lours, what do you want to do?
Okay. I could go for a little bit of a Hail Mary with this, and I'm going to dump a healing spirit in the form of like a fey bear sort of thing in the middle of all of the guys in melee.
Ooh.
For the first time on a turn or the start of the creature's turn, I can cause it to restore 1d6 hit points to the creature with no action. It can heal 5 times. So I will use it to bring back Faye, or I'll heal Faye with it.
Okay, yeah.
Does it hit one within a radius? Sorry, I missed that.
It heals if you start your turn in it, or you continue your turn in it. I can make it heal on your turn.
Oh, nice.
Or the first time on my turn, I think. Let me just read it and I'll let Tom cover.
So, until the spell ends, whenever you or a creature you can see moves into the spirit's space for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, you can cause the spirit to restore 1d6 hit points to that creature. The spirit can't heal constructs or undead, and the spirit can heal a number of times equal to 1 plus your spellcasting ability modifier, minimum of twice. After healing that number of times, the spirit disappears. So, what is your spellcasting modifier?
4.
4. So basically, you can get 5 heals out of this.
So I want to use one of the heals to bring Faye back, which heals 5.
Okay, so Faye, you're back on 5 hit points.
And that is literally all I can do.
Okay.
Good thing to do, though.
It's appreciated.
Good shout. Nice work.
I won't invoke Crimson Right on my next go though. I won't like flip up one up for you on that one.
So Crimson Right, you've applied the lightning damage to your weapon, and does it say that it lasts
Yeah,
until
it's
you...
already on it. Yeah, I think it lasts for a bit.
My spell slot off.
Until you complete a short rest, so it lasts for a while.
Okay, that's fine.
So one good thing about all of my sort of weird things is that they're not time based. They're all once you do it, they just are there.
Yeah, so you've taken so you get the 1d4 bonus damage every time, but you don't have to take any more health damage to maintain it.
Yeah.
It's just it's on, and
Okay,
good to go.
ignore that in the thing. I'm just trying to fill in a second.
Okay, so next up we've got Natasha. Bagerac, you're on deck. Natasha, what do you want to do?
Fuck if I know. Jesus Christ. I will. I am going to cast Minor Illusion,
Okay.
and I'm going to create a second Healing Spirit Bear to distract this monster from hitting it.
Okay, so what was that? Sorry, Minor Illusion.
Minor Illusion, yeah. So I create a sound or an image of an object within range that lasts for the duration. The illusion also ends if you dismiss it as an action or cast the spell again. If you create a sound, its volume can range from a whisper to a scream. If you create an image of an object, such as a chair, muddy footprints, or a small chest, it must be no larger than a 5-foot
make a
cube.
chair.
So it's a 5-foot bear.
Okay.
The image can't create sound, light, smell, or any other sensory effect.
You going to burn for 15 again?
Sorry?
Do you not have heat metal going?
Oh, I do, don't I?
So by casting you've cast
do I
Minor
have to cast that
Illusion.
again?
Heat metal
Wait,
no
wait,
longer.
Can't.
Heat metal is now cancelled.
Doesn't it keep going unless he casts another concentration?
It's a concentration spell to to maintain the damage. If you
Yeah.
wanted to
So
like
if I
heat it up,
want, so if I,
if you
so
wanted
if
to
I
heat it
decide-
up again, you would have to maintain concentration. But by
Uh.
casting Minor Illusion, basically the metal is now starting to cool down.
I see.
So, yeah, I was gonna say until the spell ends, you can use a bone in each of your subsequent turns to cause damage again.
Yeah, but it's a concentration spell, and because he's cast another spell, he has broken concentration on heat metal. So
Yeah,
heat
that's
metal
a
is no
goof.
longer in effect.
That's a goof.
Okay.
Unlucky.
So I got a 5-foot bear that's baiting him over this way.
Cool. So you're trying
And
to
as-
use the second healing spell to sort of lure this thing across to you.
The second healing spirit away from the rest of the group. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Just for added flair, make me a performance check because this is an extension of your natural performance abilities. We just say
Come on, baby.
you've created this bear that's like being
Fuck off.
unnecessarily sexy. What did you get?
19 with the sexy bear.
19 with the sexy bear. This thing is now taking notice of that sexy bear.
Oh hell yeah! This bear is bear sexy.
I really wanted
Okay.
it to be a chair. Why wasn't it a chair?
Pause
Just
for
distract
effect.
it with
That's
illusion of
why.
chair.
Pause for
Oh,
effect.
no.
Oh no.
And with my bonus action, I cast Healing Word on who's the lowest right now. This is a very important question.
Probably still Faye.
Faye.
Yeah, I'll cast Healing Word on. I'll cast
Three.
Healing Word on Faye as a bonus action, please.
Cool.
Oh, I only have 3.
Oh, well,
Oh well.
Oh yeah, go
I
for
thought it
it.
was Faye.
For them.
I'll heal James then.
Okay, so sorry, Faye, what's your hit points at the moment?
5.
I'm on 5.
Take backs.
And sorry, who else just got healed?
No, just
no.
Faye.
It's gonna be James.
Okay, James, what's your HP on at the moment?
Oh, how much did that heal for?
Let's find out. 5.
Okay. Cool.
Done
So is that
after this.
that the end of your turn?
Yes, I end my turn.
Okay, so next up we've got Bagerac. Magemak, you're on deck.
There we go.
Bagerac, you are still raging, but you are also poisoned.
Right.
So
well,
you
I'm gonna
have-
back off.
You have disadvantage on attack rolls.
Right. I will back off 20 feet and throw a javelin at it.
Okay, so make me a ranged attack roll again with disadvantage because you're poisoned.
Something about
Do
Badger.
you not want to just eat
Nine.
an egg?
This ain't the real boss.
Badger's the real boss.
Yeah, it was 9 to hit, so I'm guessing it misses.
Misses, unfortunately. Anything else from yourself?
Well, other than the fact, no, I backed off to start with, didn't I? No, that's it.
That's fine. So you've backed up. This thing's still kind of distracted by the sexy bear. Doesn't notice you moving
Yeah.
away. And as you just yeet this javelin at it, you feel like your arm's starting to seize up a little bit, and it just goes wide of the mark on that one. Okay, so Magemak, you're up. James, you're on deck. Magemak, what are we doing?
I am gonna cast Frostbite.
Okay. So, Frostbite. Can you just read that the effect on that for me, please?
So the target must you cause numbing frost form on one creature that you can see within range. The target must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes 1d6 cold damage, and it has disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn.
It's 5. Okay, what is the saving throw it's got to beat?
13.
13. It passes.
Ooh. Bum, 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 bum.
So no effect. So you send out your hand and you can see the ice starting to form on like one of its elbow joints. It kind of as it's staggering towards the sexy bear, just kind of stretches its arm out and it just cracks the ice away on there. Seems completely oblivious to the spell effect there. Anything else from yourself?
I'm just gonna chill.
Okay. No, that is
Spike
that
jokes.
is a valid strategy.
It was a pun that I was laughing at. Sorry.
Okay, so next up then we've got James. Relaxio, you're on deck. So James, you've got Hunter's Mark still up on this thing, and you are also poisoned. So what do you want to do?
It's still distracted. I'm presuming
It's still
I can move
distracted
away
by
from
the
it.
sexy bear. Yes, yeah.
To use the sexy bear distraction to step, and then I will attempt to hit it with a long bow. Obviously, an arrow, no.
Yep, that's fine. So if you roll me to hit, please, with disadvantage.
13.
Is that with disadvantage?
Yeah.
It misses, unfortunately.
Balls.
Shot goes wide. Anything else from yourself?
I don't think I can do anything else. Just try and move as far away from it as I can.
That's fine. Okay. So.
Do anything to try and get over the poison. That's the only thing. Don't know how poison works.
Poison it just sits on the duration.
Not like a Constitution saving for that then.
Have a check. I'll just quickly check on what the ruling on that is. I think it literally just lasts until the end of the duration. But
Okay.
I'll have a look for you. Okay, so next up we've got Relaxio. So Relaxio, you've still got Armour of Agathis in effect. Faye, you're on deck. So Relaxio, what do you want to do?
I have got the armour on, and I have also got the Hex Curse. So I'm going to move into melee.
Okay.
And I'm going to attack with my Fang of Merrshaulk.
Cool. So this thing is sort of staggered away from the guys towards the sexy bear. If you can roll me an attack roll with your sickle, please.
And I hit with a 21. Sorry.
Oh hell yeah!
21 hits.
Yes.
Roll me some damage, please.
And
That's what's up.
it was
Nice.
5 damage plus my 2 from the Hexblade Curse.
So that's 7 damage total, yeah?
Correct.
Cool. So as you lash out with your sickle, you basically slash off a big old chunk of skin from this thing. Just a whole meaty slab of flesh falls away. Again, the purple ichor that you can see is basically running through it like blood at this stage, sprays out on you. And you can feel the venom sort of seep into you, but it doesn't have any effect to your body, just again takes it on board and goes, nah, it's basically air at this stage.
I'll drink that shit up.
Anything else?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to take
Cover me in it.
I'm going to
Can
take
I
a
have
bonus
a-
action
Yep.
of a second attack with my packed weapon.
Cool. So if you
The
can roll me to hit for that, please.
I think I'll just put dagger and it'll do the pack for me on this.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a 19 to hit.
That hits. Roll me some damage, please.
I've rolled 4,
Yep.
Ooh.
but I'm not sure if. Yeah, so at plus 2, it's still going. But yeah, that's it.
So yeah, so your dagger is 1d4 plus plus 3
2.
plus 2, yes, yeah, because it's magical.
So that's 6 damage.
piercing. So 6 damage to the Visti. So yeah, your Assassin's Creed like hidden blade comes out, and you just take another swipe at this thing, and again you get sprayed with this purple bile as it just like cuts another deep wound in this thing.
And that's me done, I believe.
Cool. So, Faye, you're up.
Going in
You
with
are...
another quarter-staff extravaganza.
Okay, fair enough. Roll me to hit, please.
You do realise every time you hit it, poison comes off it, right?
Yeah, but I've lost damage purposely to have more hit on this weapon, so I feel like I have to keep going with it.
Okay, so roll to hit with your first quarterstaff, please.
17 and 16.
Both hit. Roll me some damage, please.
Oh yeah.
Oh baby.
Oh baby.
So got 8 on one and 7 on the other, and then an extra 3 from my Crimson Right.
So it's 18 points of damage.
Jesus Christ.
I did something, yeah!
That's a lot of damage.
So, you bring your first quarterstaff in, like going straight
It
for
might
this
kill me
thing's
again.
straight for this thing's knee, and as you bring it down, you feel just this rush of vengeance. How dare you kill me? Only I kill me! And you bring the quarterstaff in and crack it on the knee, and there's this sort of spark of lightning as it basically blows this thing's knee out. The second quarterstaff comes in and just cracks it on the back of the leg. As you do so, there is again a spray of poison comes out, and you take 4 points of poison damage. Now, you did start your turn next to the healing totem.
Wait a minute, so did I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can choose whether to heal.
So,
Not
so have you just been not choosing to heal them, you dick?
Basically, that thing will
39
resurrect
HP,
them.
Badrak.
That will
Remind me
resurrect
to-
them every time they're down.
So,
I'm not.
I'm just
healing
gonna run quickly past the people who were in
Okay.
range of this healing totem. Does Bagerac get a heal?
No.
Not unless he's downed. No.
Does Faye get a heal?
I'm on 1.
Does James get a heal?
No one gets a heal.
Okay.
Actually, I think that's
You get a heal, you get a heal.
that's quite
This-
good because we're taking damage that all he's going to do is just keep us coming back to life.
Alive, yeah.
It's
a
quite.
Right. Anything else from yourself, Faye?
Still gonna beat him with my shield
No.
when we leave.
Cool. So,
With my angry old face.
so this beastie is looking at the sexy bear still. And yeah, no, they are really going for that sexy bear and can do nothing
Yeah.
further.
Sexy bed.
Okay, let me just.
I wonder if he's hoping it's an Ursa Major and not an Ursa Minor. Else he'd get in
Oh
trouble.
Sad thing
Okay.
is that- sad thing is that you were
So-
thought that a while ago, and you've been waiting to say it, haven't you?
Goddamn.
Definitely not.
Goddamn. Right,
Definitely.
Lours, you're up. Natasha, you're on deck. What are we doing?
God, this is unbearable.
So, if to maintain concentration on this, I can't cast
You
anything
can't
else,
cast
is that
another spell, no.
correct? Would Wild Shape count as a
Yeah.
spell?
I don't know because it's not technically a
Ooh.
spell; it's a class feature. But I imagine that the process of I would make you take a concentration check to maintain it. I wouldn't instantly
Then
cancel it, but I'm going to
do
make you
nothing.
roll for it.
You have a
Then I will
dagger.
cast nothing.
Have a,
I
you have
do,
a
but I
dagger?
don't want to get in melee unless I'm in that because I'm only
Throw a
an
dagger.
18 anyway.
Yeah, throw it at it.
Oh, I don't have anything like that.
Okay.
He has a
Sorry,
staff,
I meant
that's
I
it.
have a staff. Sorry, I have.
Right.
I will. If I can't cast another spell, I'm not doing anything. Then I'm just going to maintain.
Just to stay and maintain your
concentration.
healing spirit. Okay. Cool. Natasha, you're up. Bagerac, you're on deck.
Cool. I will. Do I have one? No. Fuck. I will cast Vicious Mockery at this little thing, at this hulking mess of a man.
Okay. So, Natasha.
Does that mean the bear goes now?
No,
Nope.
because the bear is not a concentration spell.
Let's
Well
cast
done.
Vicious Mockery instead of Viscous Mockery. That could.
Let's try that. So, what is your vicious mockery? How are you expressing that?
I have seen only one thing uglier than you, mister, and that's your mum.
And what is your what is the wisdom saving throw that this thing needs to beat?
Wisdom saving throw of 14.
Well, I can tell you that it rolled a 10.
Yeah!
I'm gonna roll
So-
myself a wisdom.
Oh,
throw
and I
now.
dealt it 4 psychic damage.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Every part of me hopes that you spend all week trying to think of these like burns,
I really
and
hope
that
he
this
does.
is still
It's
the
a
best
very
that you
slow
can come up with.
I try and go
Like,
for
your
that
mum's
delicate
the
balance,
best
that
you
delicate
can with.
balance of so awful it still makes everybody laugh.
As you
You
cast
just
that,
can't do that, folks.
as you come out with this searing burn against this critter, you can see
It's almost like casting
basically,
heat metal again.
as it's walking away from you, you can see basically part of the back of its head just caves in.
My head caved in.
I kill it.
And there's this sort of thick purple blood starts running down out of its nose. It's still moving, but it's looking pretty beat up at this point. Anything else from yourself, Natasha?
Business.
No, not right now. I think I'm good.
Cool. So, next up we've got Bagerac. You are still raging, you are still poisoned, and then Magemak, you're on deck. So, Bagerac.
I am gonna hurl a javelin at it.
Another javelin. So, if you can roll me a ranged attack with that, with disadvantage,
7.
please. Again, just
Oh, it's a miss. Chris.
goes wide of the mark, unfortunately.
He's so
It's still-
angry, he's just sort of
you
being
are
like, "Ugh!"
Yeah, you are so furious that you just cannot find a mark on this thing, and then
So
another
furious that I got pink goop all over me.
another javelin goes whistling past its head. Cool. Anything else from yourself?
No.
What does poison damage do, by the way, in terms of like, is it lasting?
So
Should I
poison
have been
poison
taking
damage is a
off
type of
extra-
damage. If you are poisoned, you have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Hence the reason I'm
Right,
missing
okay.
fucking everything.
Yeah. So it didn't take any damage from the poison itself, but it's still like causing his muscles to
An
kind of
effect.
seize up a little bit. Also, that he is furious. Okay, so
Fucking purple.
Magemak, you're up. James, you're on deck. Magemak, what are we doing?
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast. Cool.
The MLG Warlock spell. For 20.
11. Oh.
So
yeah, it's
Oh,
11
God.
to hit, so
11 to hit. So it goes wide. I'm sorry. You reach your hand out, and the Eldritch energy builds up and just goes blasts out a chunk of the wall next to it, but misses the target. Anything else from yourself?
just chill.
Just chill. Cool. That's fine, man. You chill with your chest. You're having a good time. So,
Alright.
James, you're up. Relaxio, you're on deck. James, you've still got Hunter's Mark on this thing, and you are still poisoned.
Okay, I'm gonna try and smack you with my rapier.
Okay.
Oh shit! Hang on, didn't do it. With...
So, if you roll for your first attack with
Um,
disadvantage,
hang on.
please.
Yeah, 1 second. 14 to hit.
Misses,
Oh, balls.
unfortunately. So you go and swing in, but the poison's still
And-
pumping through you, and you just can't quite.
Ah, yes, 9.
Again, yeah, the venom in you is just it's slowing you down too much. You're just not able to really bring anything to bear on it. Anything else from yourself?
No, I don't think I can absorb anything from it. Nope, nothing.
Okay, no worries. So, Relaxio, you're up. So, Armour of Agathis is still active. Faye, you're on deck. So, Relaxio, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna do the same again. I'm gonna go for an attack with my sickle.
Okay, cool. So you bring the sickle down the wide arc onto this thing. Does it hit?
11.
It does not, unfortunately. Swing and a
Fucking
miss.
duck.
Are we
So
going in
for
with
my
the hidden
bonus
blade?
action.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you dive in, you bring your arm out with this wrist blade extended out.
7.
Misses, unfortunately. Just can't seem to find a mark on it. It just sort of steps forward unexpectedly because it having its knee blown out. It just kind of staggers a little bit and moves in a way you didn't expect, and you just go wide of the mark on
So
that
I'm
one.
just going to stand in front of him and wave my hands.
It's fair enough. Okay, so Faye, you're up. You are still poisoned.
Okay. Am I able to discuss what I do with my comrades here, or would that take up too much time for it really to be acceptable?
I'd say if you keep it short, if you can, communicate in 10 words or less what you're about to do, if you're trying to prep them for something, I'd allow it.
So I was gonna say, I haven't got much health left. Shall I attack with my quarterstaffs or go for a long range?
I completely forgot you starting your round next to the Healy Bear.
Which isn't going to heal her because she's still not dead.
But only if I'm dead. So yeah, okay, I'll do that. That's fine. I'll go quarterstaffs then. I'm just thinking damage-wise, they do a lot more.
Cool. So we're
Is
doing
it worth potentially buying on it?
double strike with the quarterstaffs.
Oh, it's off.
Yeah. Do I have to roll with disadvantage because of poisoning?
You do, because you're poisoned.
Okay. So the first one is 18 to hit.
Which hits? Roll me some damage, please. So you bring your quarterstaff down. You've sort of sussed how to get it in the leg, so you're going for the same leg again. You bring it cracking down onto the back of the leg.
So that's 8 damage.
Is that including your
no,
bonus?
It's not. So 11.
So 11 total.
11.
Cool. So again, the strike goes off, and there's this spark of lightning as you basically blast it in the back of the thigh.
And my second quarterstaff got 9 to hit.
Misses, unfortunately.
Cool.
Okay, so
That's me done.
So this thing's still lumbering towards the sexy bear totem. It really likes the sexy bear totem. It is paying no attention to the fact that it's basically... So not only is this thing crippled and has its leg blown out, it is just still going after the sexy bear totem.
It's looking for that one last bit of fun before it knows its impending doom.
Lours, you're up. Natasha, you're on deck. Lours, what are you doing?
Man of the match for Natasha.
Yeah.
Female, thank you. Don't assume my gender.
Is the totem still within... Sorry, the spirit within range of everybody? Or everybody in melee range, anyway? It has a 5-foot range on it. So I'm trying to just keep it in range.
I'd say at this point you'd probably need to move it.
Okay, I will move it.
Relaxio.
I will move it to cover as many people as possible.
Me and James are still in range of it.
So I'll try and move it to somewhere sort of central.
I'd say if you move it, it would. If you were to move it, it would now cover Faye, James, and Relaxio.
I will do that then.
Excellent.
And that's it.
As long as it still covers me.
Cool.
Yep.
That's fine then. So, Natasha, you're up. Bagerac, you're on deck. Natasha, what are you doing?
Dramatic pause.
I'm going to cast another cheeky bit of vicious mockery on this.
Another vicious
Too busy concentrating on her sexy bear. That's what it was.
Focusing on that sexy bear. Cool. Okay, so it's a wisdom saving, isn't it?
14.
So look. It does not save. Roll me some damage.
2.
Nice.
2. So again, the back of the head starts to crumple in. And again,
Did we
it's
get another joke?
more of that ichor now starts to bleed out through the ears.
Let me think.
What's your mockery?
My mockery. Look at you. You're so fucking lost. You can't even get your bearings right.
Everyone roll for psychic damage.
Yeah, it feels like that was worth 2 points of damage. Okay.
Don't you forget it.
I think I took 2 points of damage.
Right, Bagerac, you're up. You're still raging.
I'm
You
going
are still
to hurl a
poisoned.
fucking javelin.
How
Okay.
many javelins have you got?
About 20.
Got my
I think-
fingers crossed.
I think
for
you
that.
may-
Me 7.
Oh,
God damn.
Misses
no.
again.
Actually,
How long does this poison last for? This is bullshit.
Misses again.
I
It's
need to
10
prep
there's
lesser
one round, innit?
restoration
So
for
it's like-
next, thingy on this one.
It's 1 minute, innit? So it's like 10 rounds.
Yeah.
It'll basically last out. Oh, it'll basically last out your rage.
Well, I can rage 3 times, so I doubt it.
Fair enough. Okay. Anything else from yourself?
I'm gonna.
No.
No.
You know-
Okay.
You know what's coming, don't you, guys?
Magemak's up. James,
Egg.
you're on deck.
Come on.
Throw an egg.
Here's
Oh
the
my god,
pitch.
throw an egg.
Oh yeah,
Say
I've got an
anything.
egg. I've got 4 eggs.
Do not waste those eggs. I need to eat those.
Throw it.
Magemak, what are you doing?
Eldritch Blast.
Okay. Roll me to hit, please.
Got a right cast, Dave.
Yeah, right cast.
Oh, I'll write it. Oh, fucking hell.
You're just checking it at the minute.
$14 to hit.
Misses, unfortunately. The shot just
Oh
kind
my
of
God.
stupid, like staggering, lumbering gait just kind of drops it to the one side, and the shot just goes whizzing past over its shoulder. Anything else from yourself?
I think I might just sit down with my chest.
Okay, that's fine.
Hugging it a bit more.
Sit down, chill out with your
Yeah.
chest. So, James, you're up. Hunter's Mark is still up. You are still poisoned. Relaxio, you're on deck.
Oh, I'm gonna just keep going and hope that I can hit the bugger.
Cool. What are we going in with? Rapier or longbow?
Just rape it. Ah, I did it again. Sorry. Ooh, that's 18 to hit
18 hits.
and 8 piercing damage, but I have Hunter's Mark, and which is 1d6. So shall I just roll 1d6?
Yep, so just roll 1d6 to tell what it is. So you do 8 points of damage plus.
Hang on a second, because I have one of my features is colossal. Where are we? Colossal fighter. No, that's not the word. Colossal Slayer. Once per turn, when you hit each other with a weapon attack, takes an 1d8 damage if it's below its maximum HP.
Which it is, so roll me a d8,
1d8.
please.
And then add them all up and just give them straight to Tom.
Oh, fucking what?
Yeah.
So
it's
for the
12 in
record,
total.
I rolled a 1. Which is
Okay,
12
so
in
that's
total.
12 damage in total.
And then I will attack again. My other sword. 11, so presumably not a
11
hit.
misses, unfortunately, but this thing is now sort of. It's. As you bring in that first rapier, you take a swipe and get both of the back of its thighs, and it just drops onto its distended, bloated gut. And there's just. This purple ichor starts to just ooze out to the side, but it is still dragging itself along, lame and limp, towards the sexy bear.
I really want to hit this now.
Have I taken poison damage or anything?
No, not this
Spray
time.
or... Okay, cool.
Not this time. Anything else from yourself?
No, I'm going to keep following it. Kicking
Cool.
it in the back of the leg.
Cool. So, Relaxio, you're up. Faye, you're on deck. Relaxio, you've still got Armour of Agathis available. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna fang the bastard.
All right. Roll me to hit. It is now prone, so you get advantage. It's down, so you get advantage on the attack.
Is that just an ADV at the end?
Yes.
So 22 to hit.
Excellent. Roll me some damage, please.
4 damage plus 2, so that's 6 damage. Done.
Cool. So, as you step over it, you draw the sickle and just plunge it into its spine and drag it across, forming this deep gouge. There's a spray of purple, venomous blood up in your face, but you just shrug it off like it was fucking water. How much damage was that, sorry?
It was 6.
6 damage. And I assume you're going for a second attack with the...
I certainly am.
Cool. Roll me to hit, please, again with advantage.
So it's 11 to hit.
Well, it's technically already dead, so how do you want to do this?
Hey!
Yeah, again. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to get my sickle.
Yep.
I'm going to hook it in. I'm stood on its back, obviously.
Yep.
I'm going to hook it in at its neck, just above the shoulder area.
Yep.
And I'm going to run and drag it all the way down its body.
As you
right
do,
to its asshole.
this.
Jesus.
All right. So, splitting this thing from neck to nutsack, you run down its spine, and its body just falls open. This purple, like, fluid that's inside and flowing around all its organs just gushes out across the floor and just spreads everywhere.
It's Faye and she dies.
As it does, you see it start to run into these little gutters that have been set into the floor, and it starts to drain down towards the centre of the room. After a few moments, you hear a rumbling noise.
Oh God.
And between the two centre altars, the stonework slides back, and a huge stone chest rises up between the two altars.
Hey!
Nice.
We are now out of initiative, so what do you guys want to do?
Open the chest.
Whoever the lowest 4 people are get heals. So
I'm gonna
1d6
go in.
for each of you.
I'm gonna go and check out this new stone chest with my brother.
Yeah, I want to look at the chest.
Did you
as
say
well.
6? Quickly.
Yeah, 1d6. You roll it yourself if you want, whichever way.
Alright. Yeah.
I don't know who the lowest is.
I'm going right.
It's
to the
whoever's
left.
in range of it can.
So there's only 4 of us.
I'm saying it's
There's only
me.
3 of you within.
There was only me,
James.
James, and Faye in range.
Yeah.
In that
That's it.
case,
So
all
it's
3
one.
of you get it, and then someone gets 2.
I'll only take 1.
I'll say whoever needs healing can just
I
run
got
in and
6.
take a heal from the sexy bear totem.
I got 5. That's a good roll.
Yeah.
So still
So
two.
I
I'll
did
take
well.
the second one. I'll take the second one
so
as well, then
Emma's
if
got
that's
2.
okay. So 10 in total.
If you got
Tom,
Yes.
what's everyone's hit?
while they're all
points?
distracted, can I try and sleight of hand the eggs from Lacey's pocket?
Yep,
Or
certainly.
bag?
Roll me a dexterity sleight of hand check, please. With disadvantage because you're poisoned. Similarly, James, if you can roll me a perception check with disadvantage because you are also poisoned still.
This is gonna be appalling.
Perception, dis.
Whoever rolls the highest of these two terrible
Oh,
sets of
God.
rolls.
Is it like that? Yeah. What do I want to sleight of hand to? 10.
Oh, he does it!
Oh, he's got him!
Okay.
Jesus, he's gonna kill himself.
I mean, to be fair, Badger, you could have just asked and I'd have given them to you.
No,
but
no, I would have robbed them.
This is far funnier, and as amicable as just asking for them is, I'm so happy that this went down the way it
The
did. Even
disadvantage rolls
even the
are
fact that you are
fantastic.
both cripples, so Bagerac's basically just kind of like
Can I
drunk.
just watch?
It's,
Can I run a perception check or like an insight check? to see what-
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So Bagerac's
I-
just kind of like drunk stumbled over to James and just reached into his backpack.
Yeah.
No, I'm having this.
Would it be perception or insight?
James is still like sort of just dribbling and staring at stuff, going, "Ah, he's dead. He's dead. I got him." I just doesn't notice the eggs being lifted.
Is this
Yeah, can I
insight
see
or
if I see
perception?
that as well?
Anyone who rolls a perception check higher than a 10 notices this happening, and you can take whatever action you feel is
Oh my
appropriate.
god, I got
Natasha
a
didn't
five.
see
Didn't see it
didn't see
happen.
shit.
18.
Lours, you saw him take the eggs.
Yes.
Okay. Who is anyone else like really badly wounded? Including Six Waves, actually. Where's he?
Six Waves is still lying on the
he
altar,
alive?
and he's just kind
fuck him.
of... He's looking pretty beat up. He's kind of bound up in
Okay.
ropes and just looking pretty gribbly.
I
I
will
cast-
go over to him.
I cast Healing Word on Six Waves.
Yeah, same.
Cool. As you do, he sort of comes around and goes, "Oh,
Hold on. Huzzah.
would someone please untie my ropes?
I try.
Yeah, we help out.
I believe we have learned all that we need." And he looks over and sees the chest and goes, "That is it, my friends. The treasure I spoke of. Please, we must take this and leave this place."
Yep,
I'm all
that
for
sounds like a good
leaving.
idea to me.
Yes.
I'm all for leaving.
So,
is the chest open? Can
The
we
chest
open
is
it?
not open. It will require two of you to carry it back.
Right.
So
Let us
who's
make like shepherd.
who's volunteering to carry the big chest?
Bagerac.
Just a mere warlock.
I can help.
Disadvantage at the moment. I'm crippled.
It's
I'm not
lit-
particularly
Yeah,
strong, but I'll try.
Oh,
I think that in the
How long
time
does-
it's taken for both Lours and Natasha to heal up Six Waves, free him from his bonds, and suss out what the order of things are, the poison will have worn off.
All right then, I'll carry it then. Yeah.
Well, it's going to take two of you to lift the chest. Strong as you
Okay.
are, it's still just a lumpy shape. You've got to get back through the jungle to the
do it
boat.
with.
Can I empty the chest that I've got on me into my backpack and then help carry this stone chest?
If there's already two people carrying the big chest, you can just carry the little chest by yourself.
Okay.
It's fine.
So who's carry it? Was it Lours?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As you manage to get the various chests out of this chamber, you feel the ground start to shake.
Uh-oh.
We suggest
And
that we run.
A voice booms out from the stonework.
The Mr. Rons.
This is the voice of the Mr. Run.
And says, "The abyss welcomes the faithful and rewards the dutiful." And then there's silence. Shaking stops.
Abyss.
Oh, I think it's probably because we've killed someone, so it's taken it as a sacrifice. That's why it's rewarded you with whatever the treasure chest thing has.
That kind of makes sense.
I don't care.
Would
we've
we
got
need
chests,
like a
let's go.
Let's get
history
this
check
thing
for
out
that?
of here.
Let's just go.
I don't want to spend any more time in here.
Okay.
No.
So you escape
the
from the
snake
temple
arms and-
with your treasure and make your way back to the boat, arriving just before nightfall. By the
That
time
makes a good
you
point, actually.
by the time you
Is
get
Six
back
Waves
there,
coming, sorry.
yes, yeah, you've got Six Waves. You've
that's
brought
right.
him with you. You get back to the boat with Six Waves just as night's beginning to fall. By this point, he's recovered from his experience long enough to operate the controls and kick everything back into action and plot a course for home. And as you bust open the big chest, it contains more money than any of you have ever seen. There's gold coins of various different sizes: gold, silver, copper, a few of the rarer electrum coins that you've not seen. There are some jewelry. There's a couple of gold rings in there set with bloodstones. And Six Waves takes a look at it and takes a look at the smaller chest and turns to you and says, "The simple trinkets, the jewelry, the gems, those are yours, my friends. Do with them as you wish. Once we reach Waterdeep, I can put you in touch with some very good gem merchants who will offer you a fantastic price. But I have some debts to pay, and unfortunately the only language that my associates understand is cold hard gold. So we split the loot 50-50, and I take you home."
What?
Yeah, we agreed to that before we started.
Well, actually, I argued about it.
We argued,
Oh.
and
I wasn't here.
he said no.
You argue amongst yourselves about the division of loot
What do you-
as the boat sails off into the sunset, laden with treasure, and you guys waiting for new adventures and new opportunities in the city of Waterdeep. Ladies and gentlemen,
nice.
thank you for playing.
What a
I've
tea.
been your DM.
Hey.
Have a lovely week. Thank you everyone in chat for following along. And we will see you all next time. Say goodbye to the chat, everyone,
Wait,
and the live
wait,
stream.
wait. What happened with
Bye,
the
chat.
sexy
Thank
bear?
The sexy
Goodbye,
bear.
chat.
Maybe
Bye.
tune in next week and
We're
find
always
out.
less sexy.
Bye.
Goodbye,
chat.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Hey.
Bye, chat.
You didn't even give me time to rage and eat an egg, Tom.